Did you know AAA offers competitive rates on auto insurance? You could save hundreds by switching to AAA insurance. Discounts for being a good driver or bundling your home and auto insurance policy.
Steadfast supporter.
And that was like a natural progression point to start the stream right there. And we're going to. On that note, we start the stream. Sorry for the late start here today, guys. I realized I did not put the stream up earlier. Usually I put it up earlier, like, hey, you know, stream's at this date, and I realized I didn't, so I let the kind of pre-roll and everything run a little bit longer than I usually do. No big deal. Roman is currently at the groomer getting his very first grooming done, because he has got tons of puppy fur that is everywhere. But before we get started on this stream, you heard from AAA, and that's not a sponsor of this stream, but a person who does sponsor this stream is Sneak Energy. Head on over to sneakenergy.com, guys. Use creator code Sparty at checkout. If you like any kind of energy in the day, in the morning, use Sneak Energy because it's just like 3 grams of sugar. It's nothing but BCAAs and caffeine. There's no like bullshit filler in there, which I really have a big problem with when it comes to stuff like GPA and stuff like that. But head on over, support the channel, use Sparty at checkout. Let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna add a picture into this background. And let's go ahead and just do that. Boop. There we go. And nope. Where's the what fuck? There we go. But now it's blocking my beautiful fucking head. And that's just an outrage. Okay. So today what we're gonna be doing is a lore Q&A. You guys have asked me some questions. I have queued said questions up, and I will go through them here with you bros. I'll stop every bit and I'll kind of turn to the audience to chat and say, wait a minute. Hold on, what am I doing? Oh, hold the fuck on. Like we doing a stream with sleeves on? What am I thinking? Oh yeah, by the way, here's Sneak Energy. So I've got these questions. We'll be going through some of those questions. I've already answered them, and I might just read the answer out 100% and expand upon it. But again, we've got quite a few, and what we'll do is every so often I will turn to the audience and say, hey, go ahead and ask me your any of your questions, and we'll kind of go through some of those. So we'll take the ones that I've got, the pre-canned ones that I've got answers for, and then we'll just kind of turn back and forth to you guys every so often. You know what? I don't even... Slaanesh Sorcerer on the right. My right or your right? So if I'm looking at the picture... right of the picture, lower right corner. No, that's definitely a Slaanesh with a Hell Scourge, right? Because we know we're getting Slaanesh warriors with Hell Scourges. So that's definitely the case. That's a War Shrine on there. We got Furies in the upper right corner. We got Azazel. Then we've got the Marauders directly below Azazel's little talons. Then we've got the Chaos Warriors, Slaanesh warriors with... That's not the perpetual combat variant. Those look like lances. Those might be chosen Chaos Warriors with glowy swords, you know? Did the sleeveless bros, the nipple out bros, just boop. Azazel, briefs or boxers? Dude, neither. Just commando. Yeah, I got me lower left. Are there any Chaos Dwarfs in the New World? Karma Craze, are you saying like in Lustria? Not that I know of, but I don't think... I think kind of like they would go there. I am too, EJ. You know the embargo lifts on the Warhammer 3 Immortal Empire battles. It's already up. We can already show battles, Andre. Are you talking about like the new stuff? We don't have that stuff. We don't have any access to it or anything like that. And the double-edged sword to that statement is, Andre, if we did, I couldn't tell you as part of an NDA. But because I'm not under an NDA because we don't have it yet, I can tell you we don't have it. If I had it, I would just not respond to your question. What do you think of dedicated Warriors of Chaos reskin? Well, what do you mean, Skull-Eye? Good to see you, by the way, Skull-Eye. Always good to see you, bro. Let's go through some of these questions, and we'll jump back to some other ones.
Another loyal devotee.
Oh, yes, someone followed my Twitch. Thank you very much. That's right, guys. I am going to be doing a lot more Twitch streams. When Darktide comes out, I will exclusively be streaming on Twitch. So do make sure that you follow me on Twitch if you have any interest in watching or playing Darktide in the future. There you go. So let's go through some of these questions. To start with a good one, and it doesn't show me who said them. So if you are the one who wrote this question, go ahead and respond in the comment section. Or, dude, I would do a shirtless fucking stream if YouTube wasn't so picky about it. Noob to hire. I used to weigh 308 pounds. It's taken me a lot to get to where I've gotten to, and I'm very confident on nipples up. Nipples down, not so much. I still got some flabby skin down there at the very bottom. Not a whole lot, but enough that I see it. And there are people like, dude, you look great, man. Don't even worry about it. I don't see it. I'm like, yeah, but I do. So I would nipples out for Harambe any day. So let's answer this first question, and then we'll jump in. Thank you guys very much for following. Let's answer this first question: do the Dark Elves have much, if any, association with Tzeentch? Which faction besides Chaos would have the most Tzeentch influence?
Another loyal devotee.
Andrew, I've done 2 Baldur's Gate 3 streams, and they're both now on YouTube. So yes, I would be able to do that. And the reason I would be using Twitch for Darktide is it would have a built-in integration.
Supporter.
So here's the answer I've written.
A steadfast supporter.
Man, it's just popping off right now. Thank you, guys. Marathi made pacts with Tzeentchian demons, as shown in the Sundering trilogy, and this is very true. Of course, in the opening portions of in the first book, even when the kind of plan for the Sundering, what's the Sundering trilogy? Sorry, I'm at the Tyrion Teclis trilogy. We get Marathi at the head of a bunch of supporter. I guess they're Norskins over there in that region. Norskin marauders. And a lot of them are dedicated to Tzeentch. So Tzeentch has kind of an interesting connection to the Dark Elves, but I would say not as heavily to Slaanesh. But either way, again, she did make pacts in the Sundering trilogy when Alith Anar sneaks into her abode and finds her communicating with one. Also in White Dwarf issue 368, the Changeling personally sabotages Marathi's ritual to bind Kairos Fate Weaver to her will, and Kairos goes after her. So that's just kind of an example of how Tzeentch has kind of played with the Dark Elves, and you can really kind of... No, I mean Tzeentch, Pink. There is Slaanesh, though. I was going to get to Slaanesh right now. Slaanesh is way more associated with Dark Elves because of the kind of hedonistic debauchery that the Dark Elves are really into, right? And we always kind of see this interweaving of Nakari and a lot of Slaaneshi cults and whatnot kind of thrive in Dark Elf society. But the thing is that the Dark Elves and Slaanesh were always kept separate until more recently, in the 8th edition lore, where they kind of said, oh, no. It's not just Dark Elf debauchery, it's actually Slaaneshi influence. So it kind of depends on which scope you're looking through. In 6th and 7th edition, it was more that it was just the Dark Elves being Dark Elves. And then the 8th edition kind of made it more of a chaos twist on it. And if I'm being honest, I don't like the Slaanesh twist so much because it feels kind of like a cop-out. Dark Elves in most lores of most fantasy are hedonistic, are very sadistic, and I like that imagery. And I've personally found that the Elves of Warhammer to be some of the cooler elves in fantasy. Forgotten Realms elves are pretty cool. I mean, I love the Drow or Drow. I always thought it was Drow. Apparently, it's Drow. But and I do love the elves of Lord of the Rings, but I think it's like when you think about the Third Age elves, Glorfindel's a badass, right? But then when you look at Peter Jackson's portrayal of the elves, they're like, oh, what? Dismissed. where cometh from? They're always so like wispy. And I think what I've always liked about Warhammer Elves is that they're like, just in the same way I've liked Warhammer Vampires, they're like militaristic, they're warriors. And you read any of the Elven army books, it's all about how, again, it's, you read any army book, it's the propaganda of that army book, right? And it's like, they're the fastest and the most sure fast, and they're so accurate, and they're just the best. And I've always just really enjoyed that pure, beautiful imagery of the High Elves, but the Dark Elves conversely take that to this very sadistic level and a very murderous level. And I really enjoyed the juxtaposition between the two imagery, because you don't look at anything. If you say that, okay, all of the Dark Elves' bacchanal behavior is as a result of Slaanesh, it cheats it. Because it's saying, okay, then what are the High Elves? What's their behavior the result of? Oh, no, the High Elves, the Assyrian. Okay, well, that's kind of not as cool. Like, and someone, Jamil just kind of made a point about this loosely, what I'm about to kind of connect to, is that it is too conveniently linked to 40k Dark Eldar, which are directly kind of linked to Slaanesh, because the 40k Dark Eldar are the result. Well, the Eldar create Slaanesh. And so it just kind of felt like more of a cop-out. And I understand how Games Workshop would kind of want to create this thread between the two. But Tzeentch is one that I think is very rarely connected to the Dark Elves, yet I think the Dark Elves still have plenty of association with Tzeentch. So that's a really cool question. And Grond would have a lot of Tzeentch and Slaaneshi stuff, probably more Slaaneshi than Tzeentch, but in equal measure, because the Dark Elves are just as obsessed with magic and, you know, the weaving of fate and what have you, and kind of changing that fate. And that's kind of Tzeentch has a lot to do with. That guy, you know, with a $10 donation, doing a lore stream, more like ItalianSpartacus. God damn, you nailed me. To the point I am very hyped for Village, or the Tzeentch Lord. Which champion from a lore standpoint are you most excited for? It's always going to be Valkia for me. Valkia is my favorite champion of chaos, quote unquote. I've always loved Khorne, and Valkia is just right up the alley. Like, she is literally like a Warhammer Valkyrie, which I dig 100%. So, yeah, Zach, 100%. They're way more proactive in a Warhammer, but that was like Elves in the first age in Tolkien, but in the third age they're just depressed, like, we pass to the west now. I don't know why this hand gesture signifies Elves. It's like, yes, when you become an elf, jazz fingers are the way to be. Brad, I don't understand your question. How do you about? I think she's 100%. A lot of people kind of think that she is a demon. Valkia, I think, is an ascended champion. And if we're looking strictly at 8th edition, which they've pulled everything from, if you look at her thing, she does not have the demon tag. She's just an ascended champion. It's only 40k. Yeah, it's only 40k, Zach. Yeah, she's definitely immortal. Yeah, she's just an ascended champion. She just more and more gifts. It's just like looking at any other chaos champion. Let's say a chaos champion of Nurgle that just has a bunch of blessings of Nurgle, right? Just babos and everywhere, and pustulent sacks of crap all over the place. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. She's special. What's up, Josh? How you doing, dude? One thing I liked about interesting is that Marathi and her faction aren't really linked culturally to Slaanesh and more of their own thing. Yeah, EJ, I totally agree with you on that one. Kirk Douglas. You said Nagash would probably be the vampire count. Why do you think he is the best? If it's best there instead of another faction, or him having his own, like Daniel? Vernon, his own Daniel could be actually pretty cool. I think that enough people want Nagash, and if Nagash was created, imagine if Nagash then had the same rules that Vlad did, where Vlad or Isabella did. Okay, as you go and fight and confederate people into the Undead Legion, they become legendary heroes. How fucking sick would that be? Like, I know a lot of people want Neferata, and maybe that's what they bring in the game. Hey, the FLC for the Nagash DLC is Neferata. She comes with her own faction. There's no reason to add anything special with her because everything else for her is in the game. Maybe you add the Coven Throne as a part of it, because that kind of makes sense. But then you just have Neferata as like a legendary hero who starts allied with Nagash, as well as Ark in the Black. I think that could be really fucking cool. I think that's a really cool way to... It's like I was saying in that video is, I think legendary heroes could be really cool if done as like, okay, if you want Shadowblade, you got to go assassinate 10 people, and then you can unlock Shadowblade, or you do a quest, something to do with unlocking the hero rather than just having the hero be there. Pierre, yes. So what's been revealed? Is it just Azazel and Slaanesh? Yes. We have 3 more factions lords to reveal. Correct. That's for the cock. Any thoughts on where these... You know what? Robad Manson. Rob Manson. Let me go to Twitter, which is a place I fucking hate. If you hang out on Twitter... Hot take. If you hang out on Twitter, chances are you have some pretty edgy thoughts on life. Okay, so we have Azazel start position. I didn't know that happened. Okay. So we'll take a look at this picture. We'll bring it over here. And let's go display capture right there. Okay, so here is our current map. We'll get back to some of the questions, but this is that was a really good one. Robadamson. No, Skull. No. I meant the people that like nonstop murk on Twitter. They're like, hey, did you see my Twitter post that I made? They're constantly making posts. They're constantly tagging people that are much larger than them, and they're trying to like get some like clout. I'm like, just calm down, man. Just calm down. It's just Twitter. Rob Adamson. Thank you, dude. I don't know why I couldn't possibly look at that. I was like, there's no way that it's just ROB. All right, Bobby. So here's what we have for the current map, and here's where Azazel starts. So I know there was like that leak, right? From like the video. I kind of didn't really look at what it was. So what's the leak? If someone wants to tell me what the leak is, we will place people on this map according to what that leak is. When do you think Koresh will be added? I hope that it does, Palat. Robotomson. What up, Etienne? How you doing, man? What were the faction names, Assini Raider? Can you tell me what they were? Give me the soup cannon. Dude. Could you imagine being launched in the face with a fucking soup cannon? I'm going to use this point to talk really quick while you guys do that. Is this. Make sure you head over to sneakenergy.com. Use credit code Sparty at checkout. I think they might be kicking me off the program. I don't really push it hard enough. So I think they're going to be like, we gotta kind of boot him. So help me stay on the program. Go to sneakenergy.com. Use credit code Sparty at checkout. If you want to just use if you are like serious about actually trying to out sneak and you're not just like, oh yeah, haha. Do like the taster pack. It's just a bunch of little sachets. I think it's like $12. Go with that, and you'll decide. You can choose the flavors. But that's the best way to kind of like open up and determine which flavors you want to really kind of try out. Yeah, I think it's a UK-based company, Calvin. Okay, so Fecundites, Ecstatic Legions, Legions of the Gore Queen, and another one that's associated with Village. Gore Queen, Puppets of Misrule. That's okay. Okay. So let's look at that. So Fecundites to go Festus the Leech Lord. Okay, so I will stick with that speculation. You know what? I've covered Festus lore. For some reason, my lore right now is a little kind of jankety, and it's because I haven't been reading the books lately, so it's kind of just... let's do this. Someone said Brass Keep. I could kind of be down with that. Middle Mountains. Near Ehrenberg. Is there any Nurgle presence here, though? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. By Ostland. So, if I were to drop Festus on this map, honestly, I know, like, this is Ostland, right? Middle Mountains, boom, right there. Actually, yeah, Festus has got to go there. I mean, if you've made a province called Middle Mountains, okay, Festus goes there. That's where my Fecundites go, right there, and they can. Oof, it kind of puts them in a pretty precarious location. Well, yeah, he's got at least Azazel he can kind of ally with, and he's got the Norskins around him. Yeah, I think we'll go Fecundites there. So we'll put Fecundites right there at the Middle Mountain. Cock tabletop models look like? Yeah, Grant, I got you, dude. We'll take a look at those in a sec. And in that case, we'll do that. So that's where Festus go. Festus the Leech Lord. Here you go. Here's his model. He got an updated model with what's it called? The End Times, I believe, or at least around there. I think he got an 8th edition model, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, this has got to be turned back on. Sorry about that, bros. There's some music for you. No, he's not a Demon Prince. He's just an Ascended Champion. That's all he is, guys. That is your Festus. So Festus at the Middle Mountains. So our other one was Gore Queen Valkia the Bloody. Honestly, I would put her over here. And if you probably can't see this because you're watching on mobile. Actually, you know what? I would actually... Well, so... I forgot about that, right? Hold on. Okay, so here's the big question, or here's the big thing. Here's Kadatha, and Kadatha is where Zanbai Jin is going to be. So, if with that in mind, nothing can be... let's take a look at this location. And I mean, I can't make a circle right now, right? I could. Alright, guys. Time for some full-on CIA action. As a trained operator in the CIA... I'm not. This is how we do things. You know, us as people. This is how we're going to look at this. So let's push this into here. And let's take us elliptical marquee tool. Let's go from Kadatha. Let's go ahead and make a new layer. Let's go ahead and do Alt, drag out with a Shift. Nope, that's actually not what I wanted at all. And Control D. Okay. Stop. Okay. So, here we go. And let's just go ahead and do a stroke on... I'm trying to fix that, if you'd please. Stroke. Okay, we'll do a 20 pixel red. Perfect. Okay, so display capture back on. This is the range. If Kadatha is right here, Kadatha's right here. That's the range that I'm saying would be the max. And the only reason I'm saying this is the range is because we've got Azazel right here, right? Azazel right in this is right there. So, for me, I think that in that case, everything has to kind of be within that range, or else Azazel has an advantage as far as trying to get to Kadatha. And I don't know what the objectives are for Kadatha and Zanbaijin and all that action. I don't know. We don't know if it's on the map, but that's where Kadatha is, where Zanbaijin is. So I have no idea really. But if we're looking at the Immortal Empires map, I would imagine he would have the characters would have to be somewhere around there, right? It could be in the Forge of Souls, but let's just assume it's not. Okay, so let's go green. Yeah, Middle Mountains works then. Okay, green. So we're saying then that that's where... Look at my feathering. That's where Festus would be. Glam, I don't know. I really don't know. I would imagine so. Because all the other characters that have non-Vortex realms or Chaos realms objectives have their respective objectives in that map. For the goal are an ROC only. Oh, okay. AJ Mongrove. Okay. Well, let's just... I'm going to stick with this as my mentality because I'm already on this brain thought. So let's go with red for Valkia. I think Valkia could be a lot of fun somewhere around here. Like, put her... You know, maybe even in the Eastern Steppes, but that seems like a much easier... Like, popping her right there. But I bet you Village would probably be over there. The Village has more to do with the old world than the Cathay. Yeah, I think kind of maybe she'd be like the Bone Road, maybe. See, because the Brass Keep is over here in the Middle Mountains, Colin T. And that's where I placed Festus. And then for Village... Oh, lighter blue. I think maybe... Is that who you guys were saying is the other one? What's the other one you guys said? Ecstatic Legions, the whatever the ways. Puppets. Puppets of Misrule. Okay, Puppets of Misrule then. No, Fit, I don't think so. I think Puppets could be over here in the Eastern Steppes to keep that presence of Tzeentch north of Cathay. Yeah, I think either that or like Stone Sky Foothills. Or I mean, even put them spicier, but I think that's kind of what we would see. But that's a really good point, though. I did not realize that they're not going to have their respective the portals and everything like that in Immortal Empires, but I just kind of wanted to stick with that mentality. So that's how I guess I would kind of classify everyone or place them on the map. Here, I'll save this as IE Speco. I'll put that in my documents, please. Terracotta Graveyard and Tzeentch faction. Okay. Next question I have on this list: where and how do demons materialize in Ulthuan? It's definitely always in the Anuli Mountains and the coasts of Ibris. Those are the two places that are kind of like hotspots in the Tyrion and Teclis trilogy. The Anuli Mountains is just kind of where all the Slaaneshi demons are wreaking havoc as Nakaru breaks out of the vortex. I think actually Azazel is a demon prince. I can't remember. But yeah, Anuli Mountains. And the Anuli Mountains in general are kind of like not a wasteland, but it's a very unruly portion of Ulthuan. For Ulthuan being as scenic and idyllic as it is, as far as like this beautiful controlled location, where it's like, oh yes, we have established lands, the inner and outer Ulthuan. The Anuli Mountains are always referred to as like a very wild place. In the Tyrion Teclis, pretty much all of... Where's her name? Lothern? No, that's the sea guard. Fuck. What? Where's Alariel from? Good lord, man. Avalorn. Pretty much all of Avalorn is a very wild and enigmatic location. For the most, like, a lot of the other elves kind of regard it, not with contempt, but like almost this intrepid fear of, okay, there are spirits there, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. We don't want to go there. It's kind of like when you think of the forest of the wood elves, how there, even though it's like, oh, it's a wood elf forest, but there are trickster spirits, and this might be a bad place, might be a good place. You never know where you're going to go. So, it's kind of regarded in the same way. And Avalorn and the Anuli Mountains are kind of, they both have that same regard by other elves and other people. Even dangerous to run for IM for other than starting locations. Kyle, you know what? I actually haven't played a lot of battles with dwarfs or anything like that. I can ask Turin though. Let me see if he's on. Stream question. Have the dwarfs changed much with the IE combat stuff? I asked Turin for you, bros. In the lore, Be'lakor is cursed with insanity by the Chaos Gods, but in the game he seems sane. So what is the deal with his insanity? I don't know, Major Mula. He seems pretty unhinged. And that's kind of that's the character of Be'lakor. He's always chomping at the bit to manipulate someone. The Storm of Chaos, the Shadows over Albion, the prologue. All of that are examples of Be'lakor being really unhinged, trying to get back at the Chaos Gods, not realizing that he's falling into the same trap that the Chaos Gods laid out before him. So it's like, when you hear him like, no, when you hear Yuri like, oh, I did this for my guys, you did this for me, like, he's just freaking out, right? Like, he's so unhinged mentally. And I think that the sanity that appears in the game comes from moments of clarity of him like, okay, I've got this mission and it's gonna get him. It's like talking to someone who's insane but has a very clear-cut mission on how he's going to get to the moon building a ladder. You know, like, it's that. It's like they speak with like a very assured confidence of what they're going to do. Like, yeah, I mean, all we need is balsalt wood. This balsalt wood, you make a ladder right up to the moon. It's been categorized by plenty of people in antiquity. You make enough balsalt wood, you can make enough ladder rungs, you're going to go straight to the moon. You know, like, yeah, he's got a good goddamn point. He's picking them out pretty goddamn confidently. Yeah, that's what's his name from The Hobbit. God, I honestly, I think Mandalore nailed it when he said, like, you have this beautiful setup in the prologue that you just lose as you play the rest of the Chaos Realms campaign. And I think it's because Total War's never really had a strong opening narrative like that. So it's like, okay, we made this cool narrative, but now we're going to play the game like we would play Total War. So it's like you have this such just like cool thought to it. Like, Be'lakor really setting the stage, and then, goddamn, dude. Are Dark Elves considered part of? No, they're part of destruction. Yeah, they're Order and Age of Sigmar. Very different in Age of Sigmar. Thoughts on missing monsters like Chimera and Vortex Beasts? Love to see them. Love to see them. First campaign I finished, honestly, Eltharion. Immortal Empires Eltharion. Zach, I do not remember Bellacor's lore in 40k. Oh, I just got you, Recreant. I got you, dude. If you guys have a better way to ask questions to me is tag me type in at ItalianSpartacus, it pulls my eye easier. So right about now, Isabella said, after today's vids, what do you think of DLC just adding sea battle based on Man of War tabletop game? What would include Krakens, boats of the races, etc.? Actually, Isabella, I don't ever want to see sea battles in Total War Warhammer. That's my hot take. A lot of people want it. It's not a big part of the Warhammer lore unless you're looking at the High Elves and the Dark Elves and scant portions of the Tomb Kings and their earlier lore. I don't necessarily need it. It's just not what I want. It's a personal preference, though. If that's what you want for your game, that's what you want for your game. But I don't think it's necessary for Total War Warhammer. The best portrayal of naval battles in Total War, in my humble opinion, was Empire. Disclaimer, I never played Rise of the Samurai, which is apparently amazing. What would you like Council of 13 mechanics to be like? The Pope missions in Medieval 2. That guy you know, why would you say something so controversial and yet so brave? I was going to make a video on it, but my friend talked me out of it. He was like, dude, you don't want that kind of flack. I'm like, you got a good point. You think Valkia Chiller will be a Blood DLC trailer as well? Calvin, if it's not, that's a wasted opportunity. Save it for last, put the blood into it, and roll it together. Is there any lore about Nippon that is worth keeping, not rewriting? Karma, it's so distantly like, it's like little jots and little pieces on the side blurbs. Marginalia, as it is typically called. Well, that's actually usually someone writes Marginalia, like with a pen. So I think, honestly, there's not enough to really go off of. I think maybe the association of other races with Nippon is more important to keep than the actual lore of Nippon itself. Like, I want Skaven to still have a heritage there with Slaanesh, and I still think that's kind of cool. Favorite character, racing character, Anarian, and my favorite race is the High Elves. Easily Anarian. He's one of the coolest fucking characters that were written in Warhammer. All like the OG characters are pretty cool. Would you like to see free-for-all battles brought to the campaign? I never thought of it, but yes, that'd be pretty cool, man. No, World, I did not. And as I said, World, that's a catch-22. I am under an NDA anytime that stuff is given to us. So if I had, I would not be able to respond to your question. So I would just read it and in my head go, they don't even know. But yeah, I have not. So you're good. Gork or Mork? Gork is Mork. Ever thought we would have gotten Cathay? Still blows my mind. No, I never did. Whenever would have thought it. I never really thought it. Not really a lore question, but more of a want. Would you want there to be an ever-chosen mechanic for Big Daddy A for playing as Archaon? Currently you get Diddly. You know what, Captain? I think I would like more than that. Is an ever-chosen mechanic for Chaos. Like, I guess you really couldn't do it. Actually, what could be a cool way to do it is if there is an ever-chosen mechanic, and and the AI has like a hidden thing that goes towards it, and if you don't hit it in time, Archaon spawns onto the map. But he's not on everyone's map until like kind of like Boris. He's not on the map if you don't play him. I think it'd be cool if Archaon, if you don't play him, is not on the map, but if you don't do a certain number of things, then Chaos spawns him. But you could just as easily be like Valkia the Ever-Chosen. Couldn't that be fucking cool? That'd be fucking sick. Why isn't that in? First one. I have a hard on for William King. He was like, I read all the Space Wolf books. I read all the Gotrek and Felix books. So early William King books are kind of, and all the Tyrion Teclis trilogy is written by him. So I have a very big soft spot. Gabriel McWilliams finally caught another live stream. Good to see you, bro. Keep up the good work. Only thing I'm bummed about in QA was Warriors of Chaos no longer confederates legendary lords. Well, I did not see that. I did not read the legend. I have not seen anything, to be totally honest, on that Q&A. Did I miss? I missed a donation earlier. It was Calvin. Floof ball grooming budget. Thank you so much, dude. 100 ZAR from Calvin. Yeah, I just took him. I just took Roman to the groomer. Who, for those that want an updated picture of Roman, here you go.
Thank you for
Look at my little boy. Look at my little boy. I just took him to the groomer like right before this. So here's a picture of Roman right now, and he's starting to blow his puppy coat. So I wanted someone else to take care of getting all that fur off him, so it's not in my apartment. Vortex Beast dedicated to their own god. I don't remember if they could take marks. Let's find out. I don't think that they could. I don't think so, HGM. I don't know what that is, Fid. Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Time. Oh, is that that's the old mod. For what's it called? Yeah, I never played it. Lord Mordkin I could see being added in as a late game thing. Like a late game action. Like, hey, like, in fact, I'm not gonna... Hot take. If they said, hey guys, this is the final year of support for DLC for Warhammer 3, and we're going to add in a special mode called End Times, and it's going to bring in a bunch of stuff from the End Times books. It's not going to bring in Age of Sigmar, but it's like, okay, hey, we've got Big Daddy Big Nagash, not just Little Guy Nagash. We bring in the Mortarks, we bring in the Morghasts, we bring in Glotkin, all these things. I could be down with that, like, and it's a mini campaign outside of it, and it only takes place in the old world in Northern Chaos Wastes, or like a versus campaign, like, okay, hey, it's the old world, we got one in Ulthuan, we got one in Lustria, and you're playing Skaven versus Lizardmen, or you're playing demons versus the Eternal Legion and all that. I think that could actually be kind of cool. Gabriel McWilliams dropping in an extra $20 bomb. Thank you very much, dude. Rob, it's a mini Aussie. Yeah, it's a mini Aussie. Slaughter Brute for Corn, but aren't they tied to a sorcerer? I don't think so. No, Anarian is like dead. Like, too old dead. I don't think you can still use Tree Spirits 900. I think that's a thing that they removed. The Age of Sigmar sculpt Archaon with the Chimeric Droghar, that would be pretty fucking cool. It would drive home the idea of Immortal Empires being a beta at launch to temper expectations. Or no, you know what? I think that making Immortal Empires a beta is a good call because, dude, like I said before, Indy probably brought up a really good point about this when in one of his dumb, stupid videos that are poorly edited. He's terrible at speaking. He's bad public. Fuck Indy Pride. No, just kidding. He brought up a really good point when he was saying, like, I don't think you guys kind of forgotten how bad Mortal Empires was when it first came out. And I like that. I like the stance of making it as a beta because then it's just, hey, here's the beta. We're going to work out some bugs here, but it's not in a great shape right now. Because I think if they had done it for Mortal Empires, it would have gotten a bigger pass on like the 5.5 minute turn timer, stuff like that. Azazel's arch enemy is Sigmar. Yeah, he used to be Sigmar's right-hand man. I just see beta as a way to say go easy on us. I agree with you. I think it's more excusable. It's more excusable to have shitty features or not like things working 100% when it says beta. Okay, I'm trying to find something here. Codexes, fantasy. Someone asked me, that's Demons of Chaos. No, I want Warriors of Chaos. Vampire Counts, Age of Sigmar, Warriors of Chaos, Ace Edition. Someone asked me something about this book regarding marks. I think it was the Vortex Beasts. That is on page 91, so I would need to go to page 94. Chaos Trolls, Gorby's Chariots, Chaos War Shrines, Giants of Chaos Spawn, Rare Units. Slaughter Brute is an undivided thing, quote unquote. Mutalith Vortex Beasts are also considered relatively undivided. And if for those that want to know about that lore, because you might not, if you've never seen these things, they're pretty cool. Here, I'll put it up on the screen. Oh, that's a stream capture. I want display capture, please. Shut that off. So here is a Mutalith Vortex Beast, which are pretty horny. And where are the? I think I went past. Oh, the Slaughter Brute might be up. Oh, here's the Slaughter Brute. Imagine that thing animated, dude. Woo! Yeah, Leshy, 100%. And I don't know if we don't know in general, if they're going to be adding any more Demon Prince assets with new DLCs. Because I would love to see them adding in more Demon Prince body parts with other Chaos stuff. Bride of Corn, got to need juicy lore for her, and then Festus. Got to rep him, Nurgle Boy. Yeah, Captain, I've done 2 videos on both of them. Well, a video on each one of them. Creepy Chris, have a good one, dude. You've never seen my face, Oz? Yeah, man. This is me, dude. Or else do you think it's impossible to get every Chaos faction to work together, allied, to fight against the good guys? No. Because Chaos fights each other more than they fight the... Well, I'd say as much, if not more, than they fight the other guys. What is it? Can you do a recap? I honestly, I don't know. It's not that I can't talk about it, I just don't know. This is probably one of my favorite models, man. Look at that Chaos Lord on a Manticore. Okay, the Demon Prince upgrade gives you a choice of 5 Demon Princes to choose from. Okay, thank you, Captain. Tadia's Payable Legendary Lord. Dude, I don't know. But a Cult of Ulrich and him would be pretty sweet, right? Okay, let's go to... Where is it? In fact, let's go all the way to the top. No. Okay. 46. So that's 49. Okay. So, for those interested in the Slaughter Brute's lore, I shall read ye a tale. But first I'll drink water. A Slaughter Brute is a hulking monster of muscle and aggression. Such a creature cannot be broken by conventional means, and those foolish enough to try are torn apart and eaten for their efforts. Instead, a Slaughter Brute's mind is enslaved through magic to that of a Chaos Champion. The binding ritual for a Slaughter Brute is long and arduous. First, the beast is bound with magical chains, its flesh carved with runes of domination and branded with sigils of enslavement. Finally, daggers are soaked in the blood of the champion who would be the beast's master. These are then driven deep into the creature's spine, at which point its thoughts are immediately subsumed with a malign intelligence that is not its own. Though some champions control a Slaughter Brute through the movement of a marionette, most are able to manipulate the creature through surpassing force of will, controlling its every action as if they were their own. Under such dominion, a monster that would otherwise lash out with blind fury instead strikes with the skill of a warrior born. Every sweep of its over-muscled arms leaves behind a trail of broken and mangled bodies. Every bite from its massive jaws rips another enemy in half. As terrifying as a Slaughter Brute is, it is the sight of so massive a creature feinting and parrying blows that most unnerves their foes. Worse still, as a Slaughter Brute carves through entire regiments, the unmistakable sound of laughter can be heard rumbling from within the beast's throat, a throat that should be by all rights be roaring with bestial fury. The combination of raw strength and pure skill is a mighty boon for the followers of Chaos. However, if the Slaughter Brute's puppeteer should ever be slain, the magical shackles binding the monster will sever. Unbound, a Slaughter Brute reverts to its natural state, and a red haze descends that makes no distinction between friend and foe. To a Slaughter Brute free of enslavement, everything it sees is prey to be crushed, stomped, and ripped apart. The only way to halt the resultant rampage is to hack the beast down, and few warriors are up to such a task. There you go. Oh, Twitch Hydra button and sneak logo. That's a good idea. But yeah, that's, I mean, his profile here, so weapon skill is 3. Is terrible. It means he's very unlikely to hit. But attack of 4, toughness 5, strength 7 means that anytime he does hit, he rips shit down. Actually kind of rough. Extra claws and the attacks are resolved at strength 5, so it should be rolled for separately. If the Slaughter Brute's strength is modified, these additional attacks are modified by the same amount. Interesting, okay. I think my favorite Warriors of Chaos book is the 6th edition book. I really like it a lot. That might be called Hordes of Chaos. Here, I will also really quickly read the Mutilith because I know it's small. Yeah, guys, do make sure you're liking the stream. It does help me out a ton. How many people are watching here today? Give me that number. And then I want our likes to match that number. A Mutilith Vortex Beast is an utter abomination of nature. It is a terrifying fusion of monster and magic, a creature mutated beyond all reason by the power of chaos. In battle, a Mutilith's tentacles smash into the ranks of the foe. Those not flung through the air are dragged screaming into the Mutilith's maw, where hundreds of needle-like teeth shred flesh and crunch bones to powder. As horrifying as such a fate is, though, it is not the thought of being eaten alive by a Mutilith that gives its enemies waking nightmares. Wherever a Mutilith treads, mutation and madness follow. A ball of raw magic is anchored into the creature's body, a seething orb of chaos energy that warps and twists everything nearby. The flesh of the Mutilith itself is forever being healed and remolded, sucked in and poured back out again by the vortex. These same wisps of malign energy reach out across the battlefield, mutating everything they touch. When facing a Mutilith, enemy soldiers are racked with random mutations. For every warrior who sprouts an extra limb, another is transformed into a gleaming crystal statue or a pile of squirming three-eyed fish. Heroes have died as their own spines burst from their backs to strangle them. And warriors have watched on in horror as their flesh melts and falls off their bones. Worse still are those times when the vortex pulses and entire regiments are engulfed by waves of mutating power that cause bodies to twist together into the shape of a hideous chaos spawn. There you go, my bros. Valkia versus Scarbrand. Scarbrand, hands down. Hands down. Did I really only have 17 likes? Fuck. I give you guys beautiful ASMR reading, and this is what you do to me. I mean, I can read the Valkia entry. Here. Here you go. Answer the poll, and we will do that if you guys want. The poll is up. Let's go ahead and answer another question in the meantime, and it is, why is Thorgrim Iron Fist heavily armored? And Thorgrim Iron Fist is heavily armored because, as the High King of the Dawi, his well-being is of the utmost importance, and since he's obscenely rich, he'd be able to afford the best Grommeral armor available to all of the Karas and Kor. Lore Master Sozek said Valkia. What do you mean, Bob? Yeah, I mean, for sure, right? He would be. Sotek disagrees on that Valkia versus Skullbrand prediction. Who am I to argue with Lore Master of Sotek? But I think he's wrong. I'm not gonna pit a demon prince who's been around for thousands of years, versus Valkia, who's like, yeah, I got a couple hundred under my belt. Like, the most terrifying bloodthirster versus an ascended Norscan queen. Me and the lore debate. Dude, just him and I furiously yelling at each other. Because we're both named Ryan, too. So him and I just yelling Ryan back and forth. You know, Raka201 said, what's the average lifespan of the elves? It went from immortal to just a lot of hundreds of years. So I'm not sure anymore. What's your favorite Rule 34 involving Grom the Paunch? Dude! That's wild shit, man. But again, on Thorgrim, if you read the book Oathbreaker, it's really kind of cool to see Thorgrim's progression. Is it Oathbreaker? I think it's Oathbreaker. Yeah, by Nick Kime. It's a really kind of cool way to see him progress through being like just this little dude into this big guy. And Valkia versus Azazel. Azazel, because Azazel almost kills Sigmar. And I think that, like, any Thane or higher is going to have a lot of heavy armor in the Dwarf Society, because it's kind of like a mark of status, right? Rule 34. So, him being the High King of the Dawi in the Karazhan Corps, of the Karazhan Corps, and Karak Akarak in like the richest place, he's gonna have the biggest and best armor, the biggest and best master crafted runes wrought into armor and weapons and shields and everything like that. So it kind of just makes sense, right? Why Thorgrim would be stacked to the nines. You guys, we have 112 votes. That's about 50% of the viewers are saying 88% of you want me to read the Valkia lore entry. I can do that for you, my dudes. What's up, Fritz? How you doing, man? I haven't seen you in ages. Okay, she is... what page number? This is the old Warhammer lore. This is the only Warhammer lore. Arroz con pollo. I mean, it's true, because it's called Age of Sigmar now. This is... Valkia the Bloody is at 50, so... 52, I think. Oh, that's Village. Okay. So again, special rules. Remember, there is no demon on here. Battle brother! Do you think Slayers should get a similar mechanic to the Warbands? So you upgrade to a different type of Slayers, demon and giant? In general... Okay. You guys want to... Here's the behind the scenes. A BTS, as it were, in the porn world. Glam, that's like the Mike Ditka SNL skit. Mike Ditka versus a hurricane, but the hurricane's name is Mike Ditka. Hurricane 7 points, Mike Ditka 3,443. Like Valkia versus Azazel, but not by much. Like again, Valkia she didn't go toe to toe with Sigmar. An ascended Sigmar, by the way. Oh, thank you very much, man. So let's read this Valkia ditty real quick. Favorite Chaos God? Gotta be Daddy Corn. Gotta be the lore of the base line, right? Could Grease's Goldtooth can 1v1 a Demon Prince? I think just a normal Demon Prince, sure. I mean, so ogres were created to fight demons by the old ones, and they weren't able to finish their project, and that's why ogres are kind of dumb. She got bodied by Malekith. I just love that term. You play first when it's released end of August. Probably the Corn one, more than likely. It depends on the Lord's Northern Kara. So, Valkia the Bloody here. Here's this lore. Let's read it real quick. Oh, the behind the scenes. Yeah. Sorry. My fucking brain's scattered as shit. Because I'm drinking Sneak Energy. I don't know where to sneakenergy.com. Use that critical Sparty at checkout. Boop. We were in a pub called the Anchorhead, I think it's called. It's in Horsham. Myself, Sotek, and Turn and I. And Sotek and I were talking to Rich. And Sotek and I were very insistent upon, like, listen, man, you need to revisit dwarfs. You need to revisit dwarfs. Everyone loves dwarfs. You need to revisit dwarfs. You need to bring Thorek. You need to bring all these cool things in. And again, I'm not saying we influence any of it, because that's definitely, like, not what I'm saying. Because remember, this is a company. So the company has got their plans of what they're going to do in the future for probably the next couple years. But I was telling Rich, I was like, he's like, because he was talking about greenskins. He's like, well, what would you guys do for, like, how to change, like, greenskins? And I said to Rich, I was like, what I'd really like to see is almost like a mini upgrade profile for greenskins, wherein, okay, rather than too much sand, rather than you simply recruiting 15 different variation of boys, you recruit one unit of boys, and then you just slap on the weapons that you want. And is it the Anchor Hotel, Sam? It might be. I don't know. That sounds pretty familiar. Are you fucking with me right now? But rather than okay, you recruit all these different boys with weapons, boys with great weapons, boys with spears, boys with boys. You just simply recruit one and you swap their weapons, and it takes a turn to swap their weapons. So that's what I would like to see instead. I said one of the biggest problems with greenskins is that they've got roster bloat as a result of choices for options of armor and weaponry. So reduce the roster bloat by just simply clicking them and selecting how you want to outfit them. And he went, okay. Fucking knowing full well probably there was an upgrade system built into what they were going to be doing with, because this is prior to Eltharion. This was like in 2019. So I would love to see more upgrade options rather than unit variety. I would like to see those upgrade options delivering that kind of unit variety. Oh, Sam, holy shit. Yeah, Anchor Hotel. There you go. Sam, I probably met you then when I was out there. Because they love that place. 100%. 100%. Because 900 Fireball, I think that's a big problem I think a lot of people see with lists go, well, what's the best one? Rather than looking at it as, oh, it's the same unit with different weapon options. And I think it kind of makes a harder thing to do if you're brand new to the game. I wonder what armor and weapon would be used by Chaos on the first Chaos invasion on which the old gods fought. I'm more curious on the Southlands where the Nehek gods fought. Anubis, I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, so Valkia the Bloody. This is what you guys wanted. This is what's going to be happening. 100, 200, almost 300 bros are watching. We got almost 200 likes. Let's pump those likes up, my guys. Oh, my back is so tight. Oh, what just happened? All right, we just kicked over to the Warhammer 1 soundtrack now. Dude, Varys, I can't touch SFO and Radius for that same reason of the 5 million options for units. A lot of people want me to try SFO and Radius. I've installed it. I looked at it. I was like, nope. Hard pass. There's just too much. There's nothing wrong with those mods. People love them. It's just not for me. Okay, so here's Valkia here. There's a legend of a cruel but beautiful warrior woman who is the consort of Khorne himself. Her violent deeds are watched over by her battle-hungry patron, and it is said that those who earn her blessing will fight in the halls of the Blood God for all eternity. Her name is Valkia the Bloody, and she was returned from the dead to further the work of Khorne. Once the fell queen of a great northern tribe, Valkia rose to infamy by decapitating anyone foolish enough to question her right to reign. This pleased Khorne greatly, for Valkia dispatched many minions of his brother gods. One such individual was Losfax. an unimaginably perverse demon prince of Slaanesh. Struck by the queen's cold beauty, the leering demon prince suggested that Valkia would be better suited to a life as a slave girl than that as a monarch. The warrior queen did not take kindly to this. Taking up the spear Sleipnir, she flew into a berserk rage. They dueled for days, but ultimately Queen Valkia was triumphant. From that day forwards, Valkia enjoyed great favor in the eyes of Khorne. The Gore Queen meant to slaughter her way to the northernmost point of the world and cross through into the realm of chaos, personally placing the head of Losifax at the base of Khorne's throne. She nearly fulfilled her quest, but before a year was out, her corpse joined the thousands of others littered across the hell-stained realm. Khorne raged at Valkia's passing, and his fury was so thunderous that it awoke her from death, and taking her in his claws, Khorne reforged the queen into a form even more pleasing to him. Valkia returned to the mortal world, a vision of destructive power. Every new dawn, she descends from the skies, taking more skulls for her diabolic paramour, and choosing those who will fight on in the realm of chaos after their death. The warriors of chaos fight all the harder in her presence, for it is said the gaze of Khorne lingers about her still. Many champions redouble their efforts, knowing that the blood god despises cowards and will strike down those who flee, whilst others see a chance to gain his attention on the field of slaughter, knowing that to become one of his chosen is a prize beyond measure. There you go. What a beautiful love story. Tale as old as time. Tale as old as time, guys. All right, let's jump into another question here. And this is a pretty cool one. Char Zanuck. Coda, and I'd probably see him as like a portion of a campaign, not an actual added character. So, does Clan Pestilence secretly worship Nurgle? So, there's kind of a double-edged... There's not a double-edged... There's a double kind of thing here. The Great Horn Rat is seen as a lot of different things from outside sources and a lot of different things from even internal sources. It's sometimes seen that the Great Horned Rat is an aspect or a kind of Nurgle in disguise. The Horned Rat's lair is in the Plague Lord's land, in the lair of the 13th Lord. So, and within the realm of chaos. So that kind of leads people to think that they actually might be the same. That Nurgle is actually the Horned Rat. And there's also the Clan Fester allies with the Nurglite Rotblood's Chaos Warrior faction. So there's, again, this instances of it kind of going together. But the Horned Rat also embodies a ton of aspects of Tzeentch, a lot of the scheming, a lot of the kind of trickery. So there's kind of like a double whammy in here, like a double agent, where people think the Horned Rat is actually an aspect of Tzeentch, posing as an aspect of Zergal to make Clan Pestilence. So it's like a boop 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 like connection of like 3 ways of Kevin, or 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon, to connect the Horned Rat actually into Tzeentch. In Age of Sigmar lore, we get an interesting revelation where the Horned Rat actually ascends to be one of the ruinous powers, while Slaanesh has been caged away by Malekith and Tyrion, right? They're pulling all of the elf souls forcibly out of Slaanesh, which is fucking cool. They're waterboarding the shit out of him. One sec. And let's get some water. Sparty reading Space Marine after action reports. Do we have? Is that a thing? Because I would read that. If you could design your own Legendary Lord pack, who would you like to see the most? Whatever said, can Sigmar and Azazel be friends again? Nope. Azazel killed Sigmar's wife. What would I want? I mean, that's a really good question, man. Give me a sec to think about it. I would say a high elf, but it's like they're kind of already done. I always really liked Core Hill. Green Git asked, "Can you tell me what got you into Warhammer? What was that first spark?" So, when I was 10 or 11, maybe 12, there was this place called Game Zone down the street from where I lived. And they had badges. It was just your typical, not a comic store, but just like a hobby store. In that it had Magic cards, it had Vampire the Masquerade, RPG books, they had big tables in the back. It also doubled as a LAN center, so you could play Counter-Strike or World of War, well, not World of Warcraft, that's a little too, a little later. Ultima Online, you could play Ultima Online in the back, because I remember going in and be like, yo, you motherfuckers playing Ultima Online? I played that too. So they had all these things, and I remember seeing this box of the High Elves, and High Elf Archers. High Elf Archer, I think it was back then, it was 4th edition. Gringet, I reinstalled Ultima Online like 3 days ago. I've been trying to play again. It's changed. Last time I played was 2008, 2009. Okay, so let me see if I can find the exact box. Here's the Archers, but I want to find the actual box. I don't know, what the fuck is this? Box. Ah, here this is the box. No, it was this one. It was the blue one. It was the blue one. Boss Corp Port. You get that Boss Corp Port out of here right now, Flesson. I'll boot up. I'll boot up right now. We'll turn this from a lore stream to a fucking Ultima Online stream. You do not tempt me. I'm clearly weak enough that I installed a game that is very old. So here is the box that I saw when I was a little boy. That was the box. I saw that box and I was like, yo, these guys look really sick. And I was like, dude, I'm so into this. This looks really cool. And I asked the guy, like, hey, what's Warhammer? And he's like, oh, you don't know? You don't know what Warhammer is? I'm like, dude, I'm a 10-year-old boy. I don't know what shit is, man. I barely know how to wipe my own ass. So, my mom was with me. I wasn't there alone. No, UO is not dead. Atlantic is bumping. It's like doubled in subscribers in the last year and a half. Nice to lizards. Get out of here with your fucking negative bullshit. But I'm actually not mad. It's fine. It's extremely dead. So he goes, well, let's go in the back. So my mom and I go in the back, and this is how a porn starts. And of course, they've got huge tables, big tables. And he was like, well, here is the starter box. And the starter box comes with Lizardmen, and it comes with Bretonnians. And I love Knights in Shining Armor and Arthurian Legend. I grew up on that. So we played a game, and he had me command the Bretonnians, and that was it. That was it, man. I was done. We got the starter set. I put everything together, and I'd use them more like action figures and less like actual like play the games. And I didn't really understand how to play, because it was cool to me, and I would read it more than anything. I was always reading it. And then I saw this. Okay, Warhammer Dark Sets. So then I saw this. Let me see if I can get the actual cool picture for it. That's too small. Yeah, that'll do. That's not gonna do. That's blurry as shit. Can you not have blurry crap images? For the second most popular search engine in the world, Google, you're a piece of shit. YouTube has taken over as the most popular search engine in the world, by the way. It used to be the other way around. Where's this fucking picture, man? I mean, that kind of does it. It's not the box itself, but... So I saw this box on a shelf. Yeah, this is the booklet of the box. It's not the box itself, but it works. I saw this, and I was like, "What the fuck is that? That's really cool too." And then I ended up getting this. So when I say I've been playing Warhammer for 25 years, 20 years, I'm not lying. It's like a formative part of my personality. Reading all these things as I went through puberty and adolescence, and reading about these like epic space operas or these wispy fantasies of ridiculous shit, like that all is, like I said, very formative for me. How about a Bloodline DLC, since CA is keen to do more than 2 Lords? Dude, I would love a Bloodline DLC, and that's actually one of the questions, so we're gonna get into that one. Yeah, I love how they gave you a fucking Dreadnought, but it's a card. Screech, Vermin King, and Warhammer 3. I hope we do see Vermin Lords. I hope we do, man. Alright, back to some of these questions here. What's the difference between Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, and Champions of Chaos from lore perspective? So here's what I wrote. Eli, you have no idea. You have no idea. I do not invest in Games Workshop stocks. If I were to invest in any stocks, it would probably not be... Well, actually, I would have invested... If I was smart in like the early 2010s, I would have invested in Activision. We've answered 4 questions that guys have told me about. I've answered more from the actual audience than anything else. Difference between, okay, Warriors... So this is what I wrote out. Warriors tend to just be uplifted mortal followers of the Chaos Gods, usually humans. The non-uplifted ones tend to just be marauders of Chaos. Demons are the immaterial servants of the Chaos Gods, taken from extensions of the will of their respective gods that cannot be permanently killed. And then Champions of Chaos tend to be the best among the warriors, the ones given godly gifts to augment their existing abilities and taken to those to a level far beyond their peers. They often also include demon princes due to their former mortal backgrounds and their status as favored servants. And that's a big distinction. To be a marauder and to be a warrior of chaos is an ascension. A warrior of chaos. How do you say it, Zach? Warriors? Some warriors of chaos, brother? They all coming down the hills over here, these warriors of chaos. They've been booting moonshine for the last 40 years. My grandpappy, his teeth came out. But the Warriors of Chaos are, you ascend into that role. You're not just there. You don't just like, oh, okay, well, I got money, I'm a Warrior of Chaos. It's kind of like a special right, a special privilege. You've earned that right to wear that armor and be that level of ascended badass. And then one step above that then is from Warrior into Champion. Level 1, Rednex, yeah. Drop me in the answer chat when she would go, dude, Arthur, that's 100% what my mom used to do. When I was older, so if I got into the hobby at 10 or 11, when I was like 14, 15, 16, my mom, we would go to the mall. And this is back when Games Workshops only used to be in malls. Now they're in strip malls or separate stores. But she would go to JCPenney's right next to the Games Workshop store. And I would sit there and I would stay in that store for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And this is a lot of people kind of come on my ass. I know what I said what I said because I read the word coming. I'm going to stick with this. So it is forged and then given laughing gas. It's not forged exclusively for you. It's usually a whole, like, kind of like a hand-me-down, but it's like, you've earned this armor from the stash that we have that definitely not had a dead man in it. But People get on my ass. They're like, "Oh, what kind of lore master are you? You don't know these things. You haven't done all that, all this research and stuff like that for videos." Because a lot of what I do when it comes to portraying or talking about the lore is from the same scope that I learned it, from an excited hobbyist in Games Workshop store. That's the person who would tell me about this lore. And my mom would come back from shopping and be like, "Mom, can I get this book?" And it would be usually a codex. Back then, codexes were $20 or $30, and a supplemental codex was $15. So if you wanted the Space Marine codex, it was $30. The Blood Angel codex would supplement into that with $15. So I wouldn't collect the armies as much as I would read their books. I would love reading their books. So for me, lore has always been better digested in fun word of mouth rather than 7 years ago. Here's exactly the manuscripts and what they say. Does that include headcanon? I don't know, maybe inadvertently. I don't really try to force my opinion onto a specific fact of lore. But I think that anyone who's talking about the lore of a fantasy world, you have to realize that this fucking world's made up. It's not real. There's no actual true fact. Just in the fact that any author has to get a kind of a loose approval, right? They're going to go, okay, yep, makes sense, cool, go for it. So anyone can write anything and it can be canon for something as long as it gets some whatever approval, right? So if I'm talking about the lore of Laughing Gas, is it armor given or forged? I don't really know if it's forged. I know it's given to them, but I don't know if they go, "Oh, it's a new warrior, we got to forge it." I've read everything on it in the codexes, and they don't really say specifically that's forged for every single one of them. I'm sure it is forged though, regardless. But I think that too many people are too strict on a fictitious lore. Like when people get on my ass about pronunciation, I'm like, "Yo, dude, there's no established lexicon for anything in this shit," and that's a struggle of mine. Like I want Games Workshop to establish a lexicon, and hey, here's all the voice actors for any character. So if you want to use Tyrion, he's the same voice actor in every single portrayal of him going forward. Oh, there's a Santa Claus Elf Knight. He plugs the shit out of my mom. Hey buddy, hope you're great. I would like to ask you how many DLCs or how long does CA intend to support Warhammer 3? I don't know, Drac. I think they said for many years to come. MLP 92. I've played a lot of armies, but I've definitely had all those codexes. You got the inside look on CA. Do they have any plans whatsoever to add Araby? People asking for like 5 years now. No, Kodran, I don't know, man. They wouldn't tell me anything like that. That's such a hot button topic. They had told me like their stance on it because their stance matched Games Workshop's, because like, hey, we just have to do whatever they tell us that we can and cannot do, you know. Yeah, that's exactly it. Just kidding. I like it's kind of messy and unrefined. It makes it feel more real. Yeah, like I don't really edit my videos. Like the ums and uhs and me fucking up a little bit, I'll edit that out. If I say something egregiously wrong and I realize it and go, "Oh, oops, I said this thing rather than that thing," I'll usually fix it. Abaddon has spoken. Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into ancient Sumerian lore here, but Abaddon and Abaddon, I could see people wanting to have a split hair on that. No, dude, Laughing Gas, you're fine. I'm giving you an example of like people that are quote unquote lore masters in a subject that is fake. They will color it a little bit, because it's like when you are unreliable narrator. That's a really good paradox in there too. When you are a self-proposed lore master of the tomes of fantasy, then you're in your own right a GM, right? You're weaving the lore, you're connecting points of lore to exposit to people, to explain to people, to educate. And just like any teacher would that's maybe teaching you history, they're going to add some flourish into there. Andrea, they're all three races are biologically the same. Well, I guess biologically the same. in the same sense that every single human on the face of the planet is biologically the same. But, you know, geographical locations cause for different genetic mutations is not the term I'm thinking of, but propensities. Sumerian, but I will need 3 hot coals. You'll need a safe word and agree not to use it. I offers Chaos. I was hooked by the badass armor. They're my favorite forever. Dude, Chaos's first real kind of foray into the world of fantasy is in the game Hero Quest, and it's amazing. You can still see the same... That's not on this, but there's the same pictures of them, the same helmets. Adaptations? What are we talking about, Joel? What did I say? Sure. Yeah, adaptations. Half dark and half high. Robert, yeah, there are people that are kind of that kind of have that loose. If you want to think about it, Anarian's children can be looked at. Malekith can be seen as a half elf from a high end dark elf perspective. If you want to look at that, I guess you could also kind of make the statement too that by the time Anarian had Malekith with Morathi, he had become a dark elf himself in kind of some ways. To a thumb wrestling match, how many chocolate chip cookies would Nagash eat before the match ended? Round 7 pouches of oatmeal beef panda for what's his name? Grease's Goldtooth, to at least match the amount of cookies that Nagash would have to eat. Would probably be around 15 or 16. So about 7 oatmeal pouches, 15, 17 cookies, but then you'll have to really look at Leon Leoncoeur, because that guy's just going to be smashing through baguettes the whole time. So probably 2 baguettes, 17 cookies, and 7-8 pouches of oatmeal. Halflings before chorfs? Let's go now. Down now. Definitely chorfs. Oh, Goji, take those pants off. Who needs them? They're so itchy, baby. Take it off. Oh, Goji, so show me your Goji. There's no process of them becoming a dark elf. It's like kind of like a thoughts thing, right? It's like I've chosen to be a dark elf through my predilection for twisting nipples. No, I don't think so. Northern. Okay, so let's go into the next question here. And this is, someone asked me about this, about Chaos DLC. If the Vampire Counts received a DLC similar to the Chaos Champions DLC, with 4 lords representing each currently unrepresented bloodline, which characters would you pick and why? Outside of Neferata, there's several options for each. Honestly, I think everyone kind of knows how this would go. Neferata would make sense for the Lahamian vampires. Zacharias or Waswaran, whichever one. Zacharias they ever live in, or Waswaran, whichever one you want to say is whoever they are. Some people think Waswaran is Zacharias. Other people think Zacharias actually absorbed Waswaran, but that's for the Necrarchs. But they are kind of already there, in a bit of a way. It'd be cool to see Drakenfels. That'd be an interesting option. Wallach Harkin and or Abhorrash for the Blood Dragons. I would really... They kind of did the Bloodline stuff, but like, dude, that the 6th edition army book was so sick for the vampire counts and being able to kind of distinguish which vampire count bloodline you were a part of, and I really want to see Abhorrash or at least Wallach. Benjamin, I'm sure that the halflings have some. Then there's Harakati for the Jade and Vampires of Cathay. Stuff like that. Dieter Helsnicht is an option. And I think FLC could be someone like Red Duke or Malabad from Musion. No, I don't think we'd ever see gyrocopter mounts for Dwarf Lords. Maybe if they added in the Dwarf Engineer. Not the Slayer Engineer. Dwarf Engineer. Maybe they could do that. Give him a gyrocopter mount, but other than that, I don't think so. I'm trying cold showers to try to get ripped again. Is this fake news in your fitness wisdom? Cold showers, if done for about like 45 seconds to a minute every day at the end of your shower or in the morning, can help out with a lot of stuff. Someone said like it reduces your heart rate by 100 BPM. I'm like, then you're fucking dead. It can help out with increasing your natural testosterone production. Also, not storing things in plastic containers can help out. There's a bunch of other little things you can do to naturally boost your test. But Goji, yeah, take a cold shower every morning. Some people like say that's some of the most successful people in the world have said taking showers in the morning is the best thing for them, and it truly does, dude. Like, as just drinking water from a gigantic thermos. Hell yeah, brother. No, we're still doing Q&A. Drinking or taking a cold shower, dude. I do it sometimes if I can actually get my ass up to do it. You will find yourself awake. And people are like, it increases your creativity. I don't think it increases your creativity. I think it makes your creativity that was already there come to the fore quicker because you're now awake. You don't take that hour and a half, 2 hours of rev up time because your body's like, yo, dude, fight or flight. Let's go. I'm fucking cold. Get out of the shower. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Like, your body just kind of gets a little more active. All right. We got 2 other Warhammer questions. Then we got 40K questions, I believe. James here. Everyone is excited about the Warhammer 3's Mortal campaign, but where do you see the game in a few years? I see the game expanding, and there's nothing to base this off. Remember, guys, you guys heard what Rich said. Not Rich. What Andy said in my interview with him, and what he said in Sotek and Nathan's interview. That getting Cathay was like a Hail Mary, and I don't think that we'll ever get Napone and or Koresh. I think that was kind of, in this personal opinion, Andy is one of the coolest dudes, man. Like, he's such a cool guy. Like, yeah, I feel like, I don't know if he plays instruments, but he feels like he's the kind of guy who just is like in like a really cool fucking cover band for some 80s rock band, and he just like rocks out on the weekends, but he's just pretty chill. Like, and I've met him quite a few times. He's a really nice dude. But I think that's also, that's a little bit of like corporate NDA speak in there. Like, well, I better not tip our hand. I definitely think in a few years, we'll probably get access to Ind, Nippon, and or Koresh. Maybe not all 3. I think of those 3, Ind is the most likely because it's basically like a Beastman style faction. So you can go so many directions with it and have so much fun and plop it down. They're huge blocks on the map that are just not there. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna add that. Don't 5-finger fuck me. Like, those empty places would be crazy not to fill from a design perspective. 100%, Eli. Like, I'm not gonna look at a map that's got 2 large blank penises and not want to fill them in with veins. Those veins being provinces. How would you balance the difference between the multiplayer and campaign? All tech trees and because honestly, Robert, it is such a complex thing that I don't know how you would do it. Like I don't know how you do it other than how it's done. Like, I've talked to Duck in person. Turn and I used to talk up to him all the time. When we went out, dude, Duck's a crazy motherfucker. I love that guy. He's so cool. But he just gets, we went out once, he just got tanked. I woke up the next morning, he's like, I feel it. But Turn and Duck would talk a lot about multiplayer balancing and stuff like that when we would go out to Horsham. And he was like, my mentality is not to sweepingly nerf or buff things. It's to put, like, okay, maybe this unit's underperforming. I'm going to tweak one of its aspects on a small scale to see how it expands out. Because when you look at something where it says in a patch note, increase the model health count for X unit by 3, it's like, okay, it takes that number and magnifies it by the amount of models in that unit, and that's a total increase to its health. So it's like he moves things on a much smaller scale that have more wide-spanning effects on the game. And I think it's honestly probably the best way to approach it. We've never really seen a game, aside from like Age of Empires, right? Age of Empires 2 has a game that matches Warhammer's level of complexity, but not really. Because Age of Empires 2 has a bunch of different factions, but 80% of all those factions have the exact same unit roster. 20% of them have unique technologies, unique specific units, or they don't have some units and they replace it with other units. So I think that when you look at Total War Warhammer, it's unique in the strategy game field that as it is one of the only games with this many factions that all have vastly unique things that have a very active competitive multiplayer arena. I did see the Snakeman model for Blood Bowl. Great book. I definitely did. Just as I definitely saw the I walk on four legs. I'm like a dinosaur drag, like not a dragon ogre. The good dragon ogres that are a part of the lizard men. I cast from the lore of life. What am I? Zote. Thank you. Yes. Just as I saw the Zotes being added to Snake Bowl a year before we saw them in Total War Warhammer. So, like I said in that one video, if you guys saw that video, I don't know. Here's the video. Actually, I don't know. I don't even remember what it was called. But I did a video on this basically saying that, like, watch Warhammer's Games Workshop's release. It will match or it will somehow find its way into Total War Warhammer. Because that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do for... As a company, you want overlap, right? So, Réponse de Lyonesse looks exactly like a Sisters of Battle. And that came out right when the Sisters of Battle box set came out. The Lumineth Realm Lords were supposed to come out the same time as Eltharion the Grimm's DLC, but they came out about a month and a half away from each other. COVID kind of fucked it all up. There are plenty of overlaps. The Dark Eldar got a new codex. We got Rakarth. So look for the overlaps. They're there. They are always there. And don't tinfoil hat it, but I mean, if we're getting Snakeman and Blood Bowl, start looking towards Koresh stuff. I don't think it's like, oh, okay, it's written in stone, it's going to happen, because there's plenty of instances where they've released something and there's not been a crossover. But I think it's more often than not that we've seen that stuff happen. First, Zach, Age of Sigmar, because it's a 1-to-1. You could just put Age of Sigmar. You could take the existing Warhammer engine and slap Age of Sigmar with it. 40k needs a new engine from the ground up and mechanics that Total War's never had. Left in and Koresh out because they marry up to the Warhammer 3 map easily. Maybe for the big impact later DLCs after. Yeah, campaign packs for sure. Yeah, 100% Anthony. Why would you want to not sell the same image across multiple IPs to draw them into different aspects of your business? It makes the most sense. Dude, Goji, Turn always asks me if I want to play Dune when I'm at the gym. He's like, hey man, you want to play Doom? And it's like 5:30 and I've just taken a scoop of pre-workout and my brain's starting to melt. Who is objectively the strongest and weakness? I don't know what all four of them are, Julio. People shit on Dawn of War 3, but if I had to choose the order of which of Dawn of Wars that I like, it goes 1, 3, 2. I don't think 2 is nearly as fun as 3. Nick, I can't. I have body image issues and body dysmorphia. I can't help but go to the gym. What's the deal with the Hobgoblin Khanate north of Cathay? DLC faction possibly for Greenskins? I think so, because it's now being a part of the old world. It's on the old world map. They've shown it as a little bit of info for the old world, so I definitely think that we could see the Hobgoblin Khanate come in some way. Yeah, man, 2 didn't play like 1 did. 1 was fun. 1 was really, really awesome for me. And 3 brought back a lot of things that 1 had. 3 has all the conventions of a modern strategy game. People are like, it plays too much like a MOBA. I'm like, you're fucking high. Like, it doesn't have skill shots and crazy shit like a MOBA does. Like, it has like a little bit when it comes to 1 or 2 of your Lord's characters, but for the most part, it's like just like every other conventional strategy game nowadays. Yeah, Dawn of War 1 is amazing. I love Dawn of War 1. Dawn of War 1 feels like Warhammer. Dawn of War 2 doesn't. It feels like a little too. I'm sorry. Dawn of War 1 feels like Warhammer fluff. Dawn of War 2 feels too much like Warhammer tabletop, and it's not as fun to me. It's not as dynamic either. Like, it just kind of feels clunky. I loved 3. 3 would have been great had they not abandoned it. If they had just stuck with 3, it would have been good. Half-orcs and centaurs. There's a big thing about that, just for fun. There's a big rumor that centaurs and half-orcs and stuff like that are coming to the old world. Entity, what was the question, dude? Say it again. Dude, a Dawn of War 1 remaster would be the tits. Well, that's true, Orange Julius, but that's also kind of a convention of modern RTSs, where it's a tech rush to the end to try to out battle your foe so that you don't result in long form stalemates. How do you think Orion would do in a 1v1 with the greater demons? I feel like Orion is a lot stronger than people give him credit for. There's plenty of instances of him fighting and killing greater demons, I believe. I never played Napoleon. Dawn of War Reforged would be hot and sexual. Here's another question here. Do you think we'll ever see Kabanda in Warhammer 3? I don't think so. I mean, he exists in Warhammer lore. He's bigger in 40k, though. I would think that there's more stuff to do, like Skull Taker and other more fun things to do in Khorne before you jump into Kabanda. So, another question here too is a good one, is how will Games Workshop bring in all new factions into Warhammer Old World, Grand Cathay, Vampire Coast, etc.? I think that if Games Workshop decides to boot up the Old World and jump into those areas like Grand Cathay, like the Vampire Coast, I think we'll finally get that true representation of a codex, an army book, and a model range that we've always wanted. And I think that they will influence each other. Because remember, Old World is set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. So I think we might start to see, hey, a faction was just released in the Old World, and now it's going to be in Warhammer 2 or 3. Oh, Warhammer 3 just released a faction that is about to enter into the Old World, because the Old World is not going to have all of its factions available at launch, right? They're probably going to trickle it out because this is Games Workshop. So I bet you, let's say that there's the High Elf faction is finally being added to Warhammer Old World. I bet both my nutsacks that they will do a crossover High Elf DLC for Warhammer 3. Yeah, Roberto, I think it was a mobile game. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did not talk about the No Confederation. So what's the deal? I don't know what was said on that the Q&A. Late Night asked, do you think they should create customizable lords for other factions like Daniel the Demon? Abso-fucking-lutely. I'd say my single most favorite feature of Warhammer 3 is the ability to custom build out a lord like that. I don't know anything about Lumbria. The way you formatted your question just for fun makes it sound to me like you're asking, like, has Creative Assembly said anything about Lumbria? I don't think majority of them know what Lumbria is. I do know who knows what Lumbria is, and his name's Andy. Nick, my favorite champion of Chaos, period, is Valkia. I don't know if it went bankrupt, Great Book, or they just closed it down. My Streamlabs link in below? Oh, shit. Yeah, let me add that in. Yeah, for anyone who wants to do donations, here you go. I had to click new stream, so this is not my usual stream format, so I had to... Here you go, guys. For anyone who does want to do donations, and if you want to do any kind of sneak energy at the bottom, of course, there you go. This stream is brought to you by Sneak Energy. There you go. I updated it. There you go. Oh yeah, the Streamlabs. You can just posted it on my thingamabab. Currently have 250 viewers, but 240 likes. Can we do it? Can we get up to 250 likes? Make sure you're liking that stream. Joel asked, is there no pantheon opposite of the chaos gods? Were there ever order gods? Yes, there are gods for the humans, and sometimes they overlap. Like Cain is a god of the elves, right? Cain's brother is Mors, the god for the humans. There's also the entire elven pantheon, the Kadai, the Sathai, and then the neutral ones. But it's said that those gods are not as strong as the chaos gods because the chaos gods derive power by the nascent thoughts of humanity. So while there might be worship of a specific god, that worship in some way or shape or form can actually even empower a chaos god. Mother Ostankia will have mixed lores of magic like Hag, Dark, and Shadows. I hope that we get something like that, because Annie really alluded to something, and we don't even have the lore of the Hag lore, the Hags or anything like that. Scytharai, that's the name of it, I think. Cain and Mors are brothers, correct. Which human or Dawi empire would you want to be living in? I'd want to be... I think a human in... I don't really like the old world. I think the old world's super boring. Well, I guess humans in general. Probably a human in Bretonia. For sure in Bretonia. Do you think we'll ever get Arbol the Undefeated down the line? His lore is pretty badass. I would like to see... Is Arbol the guy I'm thinking of? No. That is not who I was thinking of. But yes, he is a really cool character. Eli with a $35 donation, our largest donation of the day. Thank you very much, my dude. Actually, wait, no. Gabriel's two $20 donations are 40, so his is the largest. But yours is the largest single donation. Thank you very much, my man. I'm trying to remember who's the guy on the cover of the fucking 6th edition Army book. I always forget this guy's name. He was one of the Everchosen. On the Hordes of Chaos book. No, it's not Morkar. It's not Asavar. I thought it was an Everchosen. I might be wrong. Yeah. Engra Deathsword. Oh, I'm sorry. He was a general of Asavar Cools. My bad. Yes, he's the Butcher of Praw. But, dude, yeah, Engra Deathsword, I want to see him. Look how cool this motherfucker looks. Here you go. He is so badass. Yeah, Josh, okay, so let's kind of look at that. People have said that, so what is the Confederation thing? Here you go. I'm going to get a little closer for you. What's the Confederation rule? So is it that the Warriors of Chaos cannot confederate with each other, or Archaon cannot confederate with the rest of them? What's the... how's the mechanics of it all work? What did they say? I don't know what they said. So not even Archie, or all people cannot? In general, cannot confederate. Can only vassalize. I guess if I'm thinking about lore-wise, like... Well, if you kill that lord, you'd be able to confederate from a lore perspective. I guess so, it makes sense. So it's like... oh, you know... Yeah. You beat me, I'll follow you. Oh, you got beaten? I'm not going to follow you anymore. I kind of like that mentality of chaos being unhinged like that. But I do understand, like, from a Total War mechanic standpoint, game perspective, I kind of want to be able to make a super chaos faction. I think it'd be really cool. But I wonder if there's going to be some sort of mechanic inside the faction instead that changes that. Like, maybe you won't need to confederate, or if you vassalize, you get something different instead. Like, it doesn't... I don't have a huge opinion on it, but I want to see the rest of the mechanics to see if, like, oh, well, this works better than a confederation or something like that. So I guess that's kind of where my thought process is. My thought process is. Like, until I see more, I don't have much of an opinion. Dre Franks, it's kind of a reboot. It's a reboot, but it goes back in time. So it looks at different specific times in the Warhammer Fantasy timeline and expands upon them. I'm bothered about playing Pokemon, Chaos Pokemon, really. Alright guys, give me just 1 sec. I gotta use the restroom really fast. I have drank a lot of water, so 1 second.
I've only begun.
back. Do we lose anyone? We lost a couple people. Definitely lost like a good 30 people right there. That happens. But we got some more questions. Let's chip through those. Where are we at right now? All right, just close that. Close that. This. Why is the high elf population decreasing? Because they're dying. Because they've fought in thousands of wars and died, and they're not reproducing very well. For some reason, they have very low fertility rate. So newborns in the high elf realms are not very common anymore. Oh, that was a dump, all right, Codron. That wasn't a major dump. I mean, come on. Come on. It's 2022. We all know that we take long shits nowadays. I don't trust you if you take like a 2-minute poop. I'm like, you have nothing to check on your phone? What's wrong with you, man? What co-op game are you going to try first? A co-op campaign? I don't know. Not really a huge fan of the co-op campaigns. Some people can poop fast. It's a gift. No. It's not a gift, man. That's time. That's personal time you are losing. That's time where no one will bother you. And if they do bother you, that person's a psycho, right? Like, if someone if you're at work and someone goes, Frank, you in there? And you're like, yeah, man, I'm pooping right now. And they go, I gotta ask you a question. You're like, yo, I'm pooping right now. If they don't leave you alone, that person's even more untrustworthy than a quick pooper. Hendrik, I feel all plagues are connected to Nurgle. Yeah, pay to poop is the best thing. There would be times where like I'd have to poop before I went to work. Nah, man. I'm gonna hold that, get to work, and then poop. Is there something special about the recruitment tree? Oh, you mean like the whole like confederating thing with the Capitol buildings? Again, I have to see it in action to have a really good opinion on it. A Hydra Rat or burrowing behemoth for Skaven. Oh, there's a lot of other crazy shit you could do with Skaven first. New Nurgle. I actually don't like Nurgle. I do not like Nurgle at all. I don't like Nurgle because he's so associated with poop. Here's another question we have here. Do any of the sub or new factions get you excited? This is mainly for Warhammer 40,000, so Leagues of Botan, Botan, Trator Guard, the World Eaters. Yeah, the World Eaters definitely excite me. The news of the Blood Angels getting a redo is really, really exciting. But yeah, those are the I think the squats excite me in the sense that it's cool to see squats. I'm definitely not one of those people like, oh fuck, the squats are here. Like, I don't really give that much of a shit. I mean, the dwarf range in Warhammer Fantasy was cool, but squats had like barely representation in 40k. So it's like people talk about squats like it's like, oh man, back when I collected squats. Like, motherfucker, you didn't collect shit. There was no like back when I collected squats. There was no big, huge, massive squat army with a big, cool squat codex. It didn't exist. They were part of mainly. You had the Ratlings and the Squats as part of the human factions because the Ratlings and Squats were on worlds during the golden age of technology that had higher or different densities of gravity that would cause them to be shorter, taller, smaller, longer, whatever it was. Yeah, exactly, Codron. But that's like old 80s sci-fi, where 80s sci-fi was more tongue-in-cheek and more... not satirical, but more funny. Sci-fi had more of a funny overtone than what it became, where it became way more grim dark. People, that have a hard boner for the term grimdark don't want to admit that early 40k was not as grimdark as they really wanted it to be as it is now. Yeah, 100% Major Meal. That's a really good point. Original squats are just very uninteresting. You're just like, yeah, cool. It's a guy with glasses and a las gun. That's all it was in the past. The new ones are way better. That's a 40k faction, Michael Dory. Warhammer 40,000. Another 40,000 question. Referring to the Grey Knights, why did Garvio Loken refuse to join the chapter, and what the hell happened to him afterwards? Grey Knights are obviously the tier 1 operators of the 40k universe, and the Shroud of Secrecy shall not hinder my rabbit hole exploration. He passed up on becoming, what's it called? The Silas, the Siphus or something. Let me look at it here. He passed up on becoming the first Grand Master, is what I'm basically saying, of the Grey Knights. And there's a specific term for it. Crius. C-R-I-U-S. But, yeah, exactly. Glam just said it. He wanted to fight Horus. He hadn't reconciled. He hadn't reconciled like his past, and he wanted to kind of get revenge. Well, not revenge so much as just like deliver retribution to the sons of Horus. So he didn't want to be thrown off onto Mars. He wanted to go take place in the Siege of Terra. So he passed up on it. He felt like he was called to pass up on it, though. That's, I guess, a more important distinction. Yeah, 100%, Rob. Yeah, him and Garo both wanted to defend. I think it's Garo, actually. Both wanted to defend Terra, which they did. Both did. I have not read those books yet. I've got them all over there, but I've not read them yet. Yeah, 100% of Joaquin Chavez. It's more satire. I think the weird fetish of grimdark, to be frank, is stupid. I think it's so stupid. Like, yeah, it's grimdark, but there's like a theme to it. There's a satire to it. There's more underneath the hood than just like, hey, they're not emo space marines. There's fucking something going on here. Like, I hate like the whole moniker of grimdark and how people apply it to Warhammer Fantasy too. Like, fantasy is not grimdark, not even a little bit. There is nothing about Warhammer Fantasy that falls into the quote-unquote grimdark atmosphere of 40k, where everything contributes to total war. The 40k societies are nothing but like oppressive, terrible societies that are riddled by superstition and paranoia, because you're not sure if someone's going to fucking kill you. You're going to get killed in a gang. If you're in a hive, if you're even in a space marine, you're like, oh, battle brother, we must pursue the heretic. Yeah. Do you remember Judge Dredd? It fed into the same elements that the original Warhammer had. 100%. Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for your donations as well, my dude. Thank you for jumping in, my brother. Thank you, Kadrin. Have a good one, my dude. Yeah, 900 Fireball made a good point. In fantasy, evil gets fought back time and again. The empires that are advancing. Yeah, if you read any of the Gotrek and Felix books, fantasy is... When you read the very first book, they meet at a tavern where things are totally fucking normal. It's a fantasy setting where there's good and evil, and the battle between and evil typically loses. Good always prevails. Like, it's absolutely 100% just a fantasy setting. And grimdark came about with this weird fetishization of the themes kind of innately built into 40k, but 40k became a darker theme in the last 4 editions, I would say. I don't know, 3rd and 4th edition were pretty fucking dark, but 1st and 2nd were definitely more that sci-fi satire, poke fun of structures and structures, I mean, like, you know, socioeconomic structures and stuff like that. Yeah, 100% Orange Julius. That's what I was saying. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. That's the name of it. What's up, Caden? Yeah, fantasy used to have a lot of dorky humor too. That's a good point. Colorful power armor fighting aliens. She is mortal, Neil. We talked about that earlier. Yeah, Orange Julie, it's on like the 3rd edition rulebook. It's like right under. It's the first thing you read when you open it up. About the Elder Scrolls becoming a Total War game. I don't think that would not interest me at all. If they released Total War Elder Scrolls, I'd be like, cool. I'll hard pass on that one. Elder Scrolls plays as a fantasy RPG, and it plays as you being a fish out of water in a world much bigger than you, right? Playing in the battles of Elder Scrolls doesn't really matter. It doesn't really... I would have zero interest in that. Total War Lord of the Rings could be fun. Call it the War of the Ring and just kind of go wild with that time in the Third Age. That could be pretty cool. Two different... Probably more than we essentially have to do. Wait, what's the question? Do you think that all the expansions being made... more than... No, Glam. Because everything that's supposed to happen in Old World happens... It fleshes out the existing lore that of previous points in history. Yeah, War of the Ring is already a game, I know, but it's also a point in the Third Age called the War of the Ring. Elves on their IP tighter than Disney. As they should. And our last question of the day on the pre-answered questions, we'll just go back, we'll just stick with people asking questions in chat from now on. How much do Deathwatch apothecaries know about the Black Rage, Curse of the Wolf, and our other chapter-specific abnormalities? So, the Deathwatch is a part of the Inquisition, right? Part of the Ordo Xenos. And as thus, they have knowledge on the Black Rage, the Curse of the Wolf, and it's kind of a really kind of it's a very
Thank you for the donation.
It's a very funny distinction that thank you very much, old timer. A $10 donation from the big man. Appreciate it, my dude. Very, very much appreciated. Thanks for putting our awesome info and getting us pumped up. Hope the pup is awesome. He is currently being groomed right now to reduce all of his puppy fur. But Deathwatch. Okay, when you read the codex for the Space Wolves, for the Blood Angels, for the Dark Angels, for everyone, they're like, no one can know our secrets. We are the only ones who know and hold our secrets. No one would ever know our secrets. And then you read any fluff, any of the Black Library books where the Inquisition interacts with, say, the Blood Angels or with the Space Wolves. They have like this weird apprehension, especially Space Wolves. They've got into it a lot with the Inquisition. But they have a weird apprehension when it comes to stuff like the Curse of the Wolf and the Black Rage. And it's always a point that the Inquisitor that's intersecting or interacting, with the that said chapter just goes like, I know about the flaw, don't worry about it. Like there's always that point. It always happens. So, with that being said and that being understood, the Deathwatch knows about the other chapter's curses, especially the chaplains, because the chaplains are seconded to the Deathwatch and they don't usually leave the Deathwatch. So they know about the Black Rage, they know about the Curse of the Wolf, and so on and so forth. So the apothecary would probably know enough to work around it, but hold on. Let's stop the chat here for a second. Let's stop everything. Mr. Bando says, I get the feeling you're the type that wants female Space Marines. I get the feeling that you're the type that cares about that kind of thing. Why would you make female Space Marines if you have the Sisters of Battle, which are way cooler than female Space Marines could possibly be? Your shitty statement can go to the wayside, my bro. But still, Deathwatch Apothecaries know enough about it to navigate around it, but their primary goal is to just retract the gene seeds, right? So they don't have to worry about it. It's the chaplains that have to really kind of... They're the ones that are going to have to usher the Black Rage or the Curse of the Wolf and stuff like that. I do not know. I do not know by Pyros. Do you know if they are going to change the armor of marked Chaos Knight so it doesn't look exactly the same as the individual ones? I don't know. I hope so. Bortucali, they have. What's his name? Logan Grimnar just straight up kills one. He just fucking cuts a dude's head off. Pipe Dream Legendary Lord. Abhorash. That's probably Abhorash. Like, he's not dead. He's definitely alive, and he comes back in the end times. But I just don't think that they would probably go with it. He might be one of those people that's got like one of those better off left in the mountains power scale type individuals that people would kind of go, oh, he's he couldn't be around. He's so strong. Can Space Marines be bearded? Yes, absolutely, King of the West. We have an entire chapter that's entirely bearded. I don't think there's a non-bearded Space Wolf beyond Grey Hunter. Anthony Boylan, how dare you, dude?
Thank you for the donation.
Mr. Bando, you're trying to get a dub out of this, man. Just stop, dude. I just said exactly, I said, like, who gives a shit about female Space Marines when you have Sisters of Battle? Which are way cooler than Space Marines, male or female at this point. Like, the Sisters of Battle they've made just, like, way cooler. This is what I was talking about when I'm talking about people that really give a shit about the grim dark setting. Who's your guess for the 100th Legendary Lord? Fuck, Benetton. Damn it, man. It's probably a halfling. Clean-shaven Space Wolf. Now, that would probably be a member in the Bloodclaw. You caught up on the Eisenhorn stuff concerning the Yellow King. Glam, I have not. I know the stuff about the Silent King, is that what you mean? And how, the Mask of Sanguinius and all that action? FLC halflings or fishmen. FLC? Robert, that'd be a campaign pack, my dude. Cosplaying as the Chaos Warrior and I'm out of frame. Yellow King we playing as True Detective. Ooh, dude, that first season of True Detective was so fucking good. God, it was so good. I couldn't really sit through the second one. It just, I don't know, it didn't capture me like the first one did, because the first one was like suspenseful and insane and crazy, and it went so many places, and Alexandria Daddario's tits were fucking cool as crap, and like it just went so many places. I loved it. I'd pay all the scones for some halflings. Next, Primarch to feasibly come back in lore. Oh, dude, easy. Lionel Johnson. A warrior priest for Sigma. Battle Brothers. Yes, that's really more of a Space Marine. Tamarcon or Festus? Tamarcon 100%, man. I think Tamarcon's way cooler. Okay, King of the West just asked the question of all questions that would trigger the shit out of Sotek right now. Could you see Elspeth as FLC or DLC in a versus pack? Lady Elspeth as a DLC versus Lore Master of Sotek. Boom. There it is. He hates Lady Elspeth. I actually like Lady Elspeth because I'm like, this is a cool fucking character. Like, because it's cool to get a character on that dragon and what's it called? An amethyst wizard. I think it's cool. She's not insane, but I think she's kind of cool. I think a better character that I'd like that none of you have actually brought up today is what's her name? He told me why he hates her, and I just dismissed him. I was like, no, she's cool, man. Don't worry about it. What's her fucking name? Ulrika. I think Ulrika would be a really sick Kislev legendary lord that is a hybrid lord vampire counts faction. Yeah, dude, 900 fireballs, 100%. Self-insert character with all the superpowers and special eyes and stuff. Yeah, definitely, 100%. That's why I think she'd be a cooler FLC character. Like, yeah, just kind of throw her in and play like a character that kind of looks cool. I think Ulrika as a Kislev, because she stays loyal to Kislev. She gets turned into a Lamian vampire, but she's like, no, I'm about Kislev. And she goes about the countryside of Kislev, still defending Kislev. So make her legendary lord, have her have negative faction standing with Kislev, but she gets vampire count units. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, that's a good point, Eli. I always dislike how vampirism makes all those inflicted abandon everything usually. It's kind of a more recent convention for vampirism in Warhammer. In 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy, it was not the like brainwashing serum, right? Like, oh, now you're this part of this vampire clan and you're the vampire. Oh, it wasn't like that all the time. It kind of became a little more like that, and I'm not. I agree with you. I don't like it as much. Like the kind of like, okay, why is all the von Karstein vampires fucking bald? Except for what's his nuts. We can assume they're going to do Nagash faction as a hybrid vampire count Tomb Kings. I suspect. I think it would be Undead Legion for Nagash, and he had them all. I expect if they add Neferata, Ashoran, Wasaran, Aporash, they do the same with their own flavors. What do you think? I would love to actually see that. I would love to see like a tried and true Blood Dragon faction and such. Yeah, Genevieve. Her name's Genevieve. Also that true, Eli. I mean, let's talk about vampires, because I love it. Yeah, Conrad and Vlad both have hair. Thank you. Couldn't remember his name, Vlad. So vampires are like one of my favorite things. If someone said, hey, you can be any fantasy anything, I'd be like, vampire, 100%. Fucking sign me up. Let me watch the world turn through its time. And Rice vampires are cool. Warhammer vampires are probably some of my favorites. But then you can dip into stuff like anime vampires. Some of them are like weirdly over the top waifu sexual, and you're like, okay, man, why don't you calm the fuck down, dude? It's just a vampire. Like, You're like, good lord, dude. Jesus Christ, you suck blood. You calm down. But man, you ever seen the anime Black Blood Brothers? Oh, the opening of that thing was pretty fucking sick, and it had like the really cool like orchestral organ opening, and I was like, that's kind of cool. That was pretty cool. But Vampire Hunter D is really cool because the I was about to just say Alucard from Helsing is really awesome. I about to bring up True Blood too. I actually really enjoyed True Blood. It was, dude, it's like True Blood is like telenovela fucking guilty pleasure, kind of like cheesy, over the top teen drama vampires. It's not like, oh, these are such well laid out vampires. It's like, oh yeah, I want like a shitty vampire fix. I'm gonna go watch True Blood. I actually, Vampire Diaries was okay. Was alright. It's super cheesy. I mean, it's like, it's teenagers. Like, it's 27-year-old hot people playing teenage vampires, which again is a stupid convention. But the originals was really cool. Was really, really cool. I actually liked it. And the Castlevania anime was fucking sick. That was so sick. Suke, I will call upon you. I'm still playing V Rising here and there, Anthropos. Yeah, 100%. Like, Vampire Diaries surprised me in their vampire, like, lore establishment and what they did for vampires and what they did for werewolves. I'm like, are we sure this is like a teen melodrama? Because this actually has a surprisingly good backbone of lore established with it. Of course, like, the sexual intrigue between all the characters, and remove that. If you're just talking about like the lore of the vampires and the lore of like the vampire hunters and the lore of the werewolves, you're like, this actually, goddamn, this is actually pretty good. Like, this is well thought out. Like, I can't remember a lot of it right now, but I kind of actually liked it. I was very surprised. It clearly kept me coming back for more. But what was the other one I was thinking? Vampire Hunter D's world is... people like, okay, it's anime, and that Vampire Hunter D was one of the first animes to come to the West, right? You have Akira, which is the one that, like, the staging point, right? But then when Vampire D came across, it has like the sexualization scenes that you would expect in that kind of early anime, in the 80s, 90s anime. But dude, Vampire D's, if you read the books, are so good. They are so good. And the world is kind of a cool. They build a Vampire D's world is like, okay, humanity got to a certain point and they started fucking everything up. And the vampires like, all right, well, let's come out of being in hiding and let's fix this. So the vampires come out of being in hiding, and all their collective knowledge and all of their collective technology, kind of like the Castlevania Dracula approach, how he has all this collective technology across all these. I was just about to talk about Trinity Blood too. I love Trinity Blood. Across all these generations, kind of comes out, and they rule over humanity as kind of like the aristocracy of the night. And that to me is always a really cool like moniker of like having vampires and vampire counts, and the Tomb Kings kind of share this. Well, not Tomb Kings, Neferata kind of share this in their early Genesis and in Sylvania of this like night aristocracy, which is really cool to me. I always really like it. You have the true science. And eventually though, the humans revolt against the Vampire Hunter D vampires, and it pushes them into obscurity. They live in like these castles that are actually underground, and they're all guarded by all this like crazy technology and shit like that. And the sire, the sacred sire, Dracula basically, is like alive, and Dracula is who. It's suspected that Vampire Hunter D is Dracula's son, and it's always alluded in every single book, and you actually see, and Dracula's part of it at one point, and it's not, he never actually says, he's just his most successful experiment, he says. It's really, really, really cool. His lore expansion, I never got a chance to read that. And cool things for Wolfram and Hart going forward. Alucard, yep. That's always like typically the name for Dracula's son, which, if for those who didn't know, Dracula backwards is Alucard. Which von Karstein is your favorite, and why is it? It's Conrad. It's 100% Conrad. Dust to Dawn was my first interaction with vampires. Oh man, you mean Salma Hayek? Oh, easily the hottest vampire of all time. That's why I love the Blood Angels, space vampires, 100%. Zach G, that's what I was saying, is I think that if they, at the very end of Warhammer 3's lifetime, said, hey, we're going to do like a special end times thing as a thank you, as a sign off to the series, I think that'd be kind of cool as a separate, like, nuanced campaign. That could be cool, Don Walls. That'd be actually really cool, man. Someone brought up Trinity Blood, and yes, that's also another really... I also like Gungrave, which isn't really necessarily vampires, but it's definitely like monster related. I guess all that kind of anime is called shonen, I'm told. As a kid, Bram Stoker's Dracula by Coppola was my first exposure to spooky vampire stuff. Really left an impression with that violence. What was the first vampire? Okay, so I watched my brother play Castlevania growing up, and I always loved vampires. And I read Bram Stoker's... Well, my brother read Bram Stoker's Dracula to me. And I've always had a fascination with them. It's just a really cool concept. And I think what makes the concept cool is... like... a gentleman beast, right? Like, Dracula is not a warrior, but he is a warrior, you know? And he's dressed like a gentleman. He's like, oh, yes, come, please, enter, have a seat, drink, and I'll drink your goddamn blood. Like, you know, I think, like, the built-in oxymoron of vampires has always been appealing to me. And then Warhammer turns that up, right? Because you get the Blood Dragon vampire, which is easily my favorite vampire. Abhorrash is my favorite vampire in the setting. And you get this character who is honor-bound and loves, like, martial prowess and this ability to fight things and always being a badass and protecting the innocent. Like, there's a really cool thread underneath Abhorrash, but at the end of the day, he's a blood-drinking monster, and I really love it. I really love it. Lore question, wax or polish? Dude, my dude. Polish, my guy. Just because you're evil doesn't mean you need to be crass about it. Good point. Good fucking point. Dude, could you imagine me? And like, okay, how stoked would you guys be? And I'm under no delusions here. I'm not a great actor. My 2 college degrees, one is in graphic design, the other one's in improv. So I've done theater for like years and years and years, but I'm a shit ass actor. I'm fucking great. No, I'm good at improv. I'm passable. But could you imagine going to see, like, you go to the movies like 6 years from now, and you see a vampire movie, and I'm just one of the vampires? Like, let me see if I can do this. I'm one of the vampires in the back in, like, a club scene, like in the new, like, Blade 2 comes out, the new rehashed Blade, and it's just me in the back, like, just tongue out. Jesus Christ, the bat just flew out of here. But it's just my head on a bat. Yeah, he is, I think he is. Sparty is a Greek Persian vampire, like, you have very beautiful veins. I will suck. I've never understood why vampires hiss. Who made that convention of them going... I don't know, man. I'm not too excited about Bloodlines 2. Someone asked me about Blade, though. I love the first 2 Blade movies. The third one's kind of over the top and ridiculous, but I love them. They're like, that's like that 90s. early 2000s kind of like chic fucking bullshit, like, oh, black leather and dance clubs. That's vampires. Do you know why Dracula's accent was so thick? No, Darkness, why? I can't wait to hear this fucking pun. Okay, so I'm not going to get into politics or any of that shit right now. But I'm actually kind of worried about Bloodlines 2 because I've heard it's like... I've heard there's a lot of like quote-unquote SJW stuff on it, and they've moved a whole bunch of things around with it. Any game that loses its director multiple times, be very wary of it. It's why Elden Ring is so good. It's had the same game director. That entire series has had the same game director. So when you look at other games like CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk, it's had multiple game directors. Just be careful. Be fucking careful. And like I've said this in the past, I don't necessarily like any kind of like SJW stuff being forced into the narrative of a game. That just doesn't make sense. Like, there's something like that in the new Baldur's Gate where a specific character has a specific disposition. I don't remember. I haven't read it. It's in the Baldur's Gate Enhanced version. And how it's like the character has a disposition of, I think they're trans. And the character's dialogue is totally normal. Then it has a whole thing of like, don't you want to ask me about like gender or something like that? I don't really remember. And if you are trans, I'm not even trying to attack you or anything like that. Rather than making a strong trans character, they make this character that just kind of has to over the top pander to it. And I think it's like, cool, if you want to do like any of those things, any of that quote unquote SJW stuff, do it and just make that character what they are, and a strong character is who they are. So the people that identify with that can go, cool, that's a badass fucking representation of what it means to be a part of the LGBTQ community or whatever it is. And I can identify and look at that and think it's cool. Don't force the narrative and make it a shitty, weak character. Like, that would be insulting. Like, if I was part of that community and I saw that character, I'd be like, that's dumb, man. Like, way to shit on everything that I represent as myself. Like, that's so crap. It's like if I were to play a game and the guy goes, but I'm Italian. You're like, oh, fuck off, man. Like I hate over the top Italian people. Trilliar, it's a specific character who has like a specific character I believe is trans or something, and they say like I don't really know the full thing. I read an article about it in an airport. I don't know the whole thing. And it was something like, the character has like a line of questioning where it's like, don't you want to ask me about it? And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, just have the character, be a badass, cool character. It's like when a bunch of movies try to make these badass female leads, but instead try to make them as male as possible. And I'm like, no, you can make a badass, cool female character without making them look like a dude. Like, that's kind of weird. Don't you want to ask about my pizza? Don't you just want to ask about my pizzas? You guys just coming over here trying to ask about my pizzas? And it's like, why would you want to make a character that's like a dude and still represent something that's not a dude? Like, that doesn't make fucking sense. You can watch Star Trek Voyager if you want an example of a strong female lead who doesn't need to be anything other than a fucking badass female captain who relies on the strengths and weaknesses of her crew, just like all the other male captains. Like, it's so fucking dumb to me. What you want to ask about my sketty? Yeah, Orange Julius, 100%, dude. It's called bad writing, and I think that the problem is that we are mired with bad writers more often than not. Then again, yeah, exactly. Simply Steven, that's a good point. Why does every character need to be strong about it? They do not. That's exactly why the captains in Star Trek are really good, is because they are not one size fits all. I can overcome any obstacle because I'm a badass character. Like, no, they look at their strengths and the strengths of their crew to make stuff happen. Patrick, I don't know. That's why I said I'm not 100% sure. I heard that there's a bunch of stuff going on, but any game that loses its game director multiple times, be wary of. Yeah, it should be human. You should have strengths and weaknesses, just like every character, every human, everything, you know? Part of the hero's journey is realization of obstacle and overcoming it. Yeah, Patrick, very good distinction there. You mean the actual SJW stuff in the game, or are people literally just complaining about what their minorities in it? You know, and that it could be that shit, because people get all weird about that crap nowadays. I know I kind of stepped on kind of a sensitive subject, but I'm just trying to say, like, make good characters. Don't make characters a certain way to fit something. Ripley is a female protagonist because I mean, that's a great point, man. May not put. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to like kind of get off on track. I was just like, I was really excited for Bloodlines 2. Then I keep seeing all these things about like game director, story, the lead 3D developers leaving. And I'm like, oh fuck. Then you get all the sensationalist articles outside of that about like, oh, this SJW, blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's all annoying to read about. Can the game just fucking come out or give me some indication of how it's going? Ken with a $20 donation here. Oh, what did he say? What is it? Adding to the Italian-American trope, have a pizza on me, bud, you son of a bitch. 100% Robert B. 100%. Ken, Roman is currently getting his little butt groomed. He's getting groomed. In fact, actually, one sec, guys. They're calling. Let me just see if everything's okay. Well, Roman is currently ready to be picked up. Who do you think embodies vampires best in 40k? Blood Angels or Night Lords? Ooh, Blood Angels. Because Night Lords don't need to drink... Blood Angels don't need to drink blood either, but part of the rage includes that. And also it's part of like their initiation. Like, oh, drink this, blood, and blah, 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 blah. There's more blood in the Blood Angels versus Night Lords is more about flaying people alive. The computer game, Rob. The computer game. Night Lords drink terror. That's a great point. I actually would love like actual 40k vampires in some way, shape, or form. I think that could actually be pretty cool if done right. I just don't know how they'd really do it. Like as an individual, Conrad Kurz is the vampire 40k. Well, Conrad Kurz is the Vlad Tepes of 40k. Yes, Be'lakor is starting on Albion. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to playing Eltharion on Immortal Empires. I think he's going to be a really fun character. Loki and Rakarth. Okay. Oh, that's you know what? What faction? What are you most excited? What are you most excited to play in IE? We'll put in Order Tide. Destruction. Destruction would include ogres, orcs. Undead. And then chaos. There you go. Do you know if any DLC did play Bellacore in the Immortal Empires? I actually don't. I don't think you do. I think you're good to go. I guess, you know what? I did the AOS categories because I think it's the easiest to slot everyone into. I guess, Dark Elves, I suppose, would be in Destruction. Chaos is winning. and the distinction between Dark Elves being either Order, Tide, or Destruction is kind of fucking shit up here, but that's okay. That's fine. What new characters are you most excited for to see for Kissa versus Cathay? I really want to see what the Dragon of the South is, like the Fire Dragon of the South, and I want to see if that plays in part with a Monkey King DLC. I would love to see that. We're gonna go Dark Elves are in Destruction. Dark Elves are in Destruction. There you go. That's my lead out. Thank you very much, Adventurous Arkanson. And also the Eastern Dragon seems pretty exciting. For Kislev, like, honestly, Alarielle, hands down. I mean, who wouldn't want a hot, like, elf waifu who'd be like, who would just wisp her way into the conversation, just be like, oh, my people, we're dying. But what my ass was I talking about? Yeah, for Kislev, there's not really many characters I can think of. There's a hag queen of some sort. There's the one prince who's like in charge of the Griffin Legion or something like that. He's pretty cool for the most part. Mother Ostankia. Any good Asur characters beyond Aisling that you want to see? Corhill, but Corhill's kind of in the game with the Make-A-Wish character. Elithanar's in the game. Alarielle. I mean, Eltharion was big. Caradrian. I guess Caradrian would be a cool one. A lot of people seem to want the Phoenix King. And I'm like, why would you want that guy? Magic Chicken Hut mount, the Baba Yaga. I hope they will do a Tigerman DLC, or one with End at least. Oh, Midge Miller, you not know about this? Total War, Warhammer, High Elf characters. What's his name? Yeah, this. Yeah, who do I want? Fucking Finnebar. It's a character you can summon. The White Lion character. Elemental exposure. I've been doing lore on the channel for years, my boy. Alistar. Alistar the White Lion is a Make-A-Wish character. And he kind of fits the role that Corhill would essentially fit. Like there was a young boy dying of cancer, and he wanted to see the game before he died, or be remembered in the game, and CA created it in his honor, from what I understand. I'm trying to find the thing on it. Memorial character from Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah, memorial character. That is it. Any possible legendary lords for Albion? Well, I don't know legendary lords, but there's like the Bogfins, and there's like the Soothsayers. Yeah, Corhill is the captain of the White Lions, but they used Alistair as that captain of the White Lions instead, as part of the Make-A-Wish portion. We've got the character Corhill, page 64. Corhill is hot tits. Why that was the moniker I chose to describe him, I know not. Here's Corhill. For those wondering. Like, picture this guy, this biggest dickus, with two axes just swinging at you. Ah! Enjoy that pizza, my bro. Send pic of that freshly fluffy Roman. Have a great weekend, bud. You too, Ken. Thank you very much for jumping in, my guy. Very, very much appreciated, brother. Yeah, I'll let you know how his grooming goes. Yeah, it's for people that... So, Aislinn he's not a character. Like, people are like, oh, I want Aislinn. Like, yeah, cool. He's a character in the lore, and he's a big part of, like, the faction, but he's not an actual character. Well, in this edition, at least. But Caradrian is the other one. He's the captain of the Phoenix Guard. Both of these guys are heroes, not lords. Yeah, Caradrian wouldn't need a voice actor. Touche. A voice grunter. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Dr. Raptor. No opinion. I don't have one. Either way, neither here nor there, my bro. Ow, I stepped on something. Fuck. Coming up to the last 20 minutos of the stream here today. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask away. Let it be known. I gotta go pick up young Roman as he is at his groomer. Is the accuracy of bow lords in multiplayer battles unless seen an arrow shot from within arm miss rocks? But Anthony, I don't know what you're talking about. Josephus the fish person says that water bottle looks like a wine bottle. Dude, imagine if I just did this stream, hammered off my fucking ass on Merlot. Like, you guys gotta know something about high elves. I'll tell you something about high elves. Make bullshit fucking French toast sticks. Wanted Pumpkin, Anarian, and he never will be, because he's dead. Adriel, we already brought this up. I kind of have to see the rest of the mechanics when the DLC comes out for me to have really a big opinion on it. Dude, we should play a slap the bag stream where I stream drinking Franzia fucking wine, and I play with Karl Franz. Yeah, but Rapunzel was dead, kinda loosely. Like, Anarian is like dead. It's kind of like the whole backbone of the lore of a whole faction. So it's like if you resurrected him, it'd be like, oh, cool. So nothing's off limits now. Like, that's a little too intense to resurrect. Green Git said, I would pay to see Sparty, Sotek, and Turin drunk and trying to talk about lore to Vampire Coast sea shanties. No. Screw that. Just have us do another hot dog stream. Did you see what happened when I ate 3 or 4 fucking hot dogs? I got delirious. Slap the goon. That's what you guys call it in Australia or New Zealand. Spirit Bearded Dragon said, any thoughts on new units we can see in a Vampire Counts DLC? Coven Throne, more Ghasts, yeah, the hot dog stream. Do you guys remember the hot dog stream? Turin hot dog. This is a... Let's not just watch the hot dog stream. Let's watch my favorite part of the hot dog stream. For those that have not seen this. This is my favorite part of the hot dog stream. Oh, Morghast, Spirit Host, and Coven Throne to answer the Vampire Coast DLC. So here was the premise. We played Goji, Professor Pone, myself, and Turin. We played free for all on Total War Warhammer, and anytime if you won, you did not have to eat a hot dog. The loser had to eat 2 hot dogs, and the other 2 had to eat 1 hot dog. So, I didn't tell Turin, but I bought a hot dog costume for the hot dog stream, and I wore a hot dog costume while we were eating hot dogs on the hot dog stream. And this is the very end of the hot dog stream. I was eating them with a bun up to this point. I was like, this is no big deal. I'll just fucking eat these with a bun. It's not a big deal. After 2 buns in, I think I made 6 hot dogs. 2 or 3 buns in, I was like, no man, I can't fuck around with these buns anymore. This is, I reached critical mass. These things are jamming me up. I can't do it. So I was just eating hot dogs, just raw dogging the hot dog. So this is the best part of the stream. And if you've never met me, this is a very wild thing to come in on.
Oh my god. Stop, bro.
Just wait for it.
Oh no, man.
Wait.
For some reason, Goji's camera's off.
It's when it comes out. It's when it comes out where you're like, wow. Because I was doing it, and I thought it was like if this is the hot dog. If this is the hot dog, I thought I was like this deep. Then I watched it back, and I was like, yo, holy shit. Dude, this whole stream, I was making Nick laugh so hard because I was the only one losing and I had to eat a ton. Am I single? Yeah, of course I'm single, Robert. Does it not fucking show? I was eating a hot dog dressed as a hot dog on a hot dog stream. Oh. Do you want to be single? You got game. Robert, I think we're all just looking for that special someone, bro. See, it's funny. It's like, I think the fact that I don't win whenever I play with Turin has become more fun than if I did win. Ember, what's up? Dude, the Slaanesh bots, dude, as soon as I deep throat a hot dog on stream, all these sex bots come in, they're like, yo, 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 yo. Chill Warlock said, I was eating a hot dog dressed as a hot dog in a hot dog stream is something I never thought I'd hear in my life. Happy to help you, dude. Happy to be there for you, brother. Ember, a member for 30 months. Thank you very much, Ember. You are fucking crushing it. She's been here for, well, 30 months. But I remember, Ember, you've been here for longer than 30. But great to have you. Thank you very much for being aboard. Love to see you. Lord GW is producing Total War Freak. Just popped into this. Don't know what kind of lore GW is producing nowadays. Dr. Raptor, I do not. I do not have anything like that, unfortunately, and it upsets the tits off of me. I would love to be represented as something in the game. There's the Orc Spartacus thing. I told James way back, I was like, listen, man, I have a pipe dream of being a voice actor. So if you can make that happen for me, I'll voice anything. I don't care if it's a rat shit Skaven. I don't care if you want me to do a goblin. I'll do it, dude. I'll do any character you want me to be. Just let me get a voice acting credit so I can start to try to apply for voice acting jobs. And it's like, imagine that. It's like, oh, so let's see your reel. And it's just my character as like it's just me as a fucking Skaven the whole time, right? Like, well, that's a goblin, sorry. But just something disgusting. And when I say I'll do anything, take a look at this hot dog video. Voice the Vampire Coast Crabs is yeah, 100% Darkness. You 100% have to do dark voice work on your own or fan made stuff to jump into that arena. It's a wild ass world, man. But yeah, like how do you voice act a giant hot dog? Sylvester Stallone. Oh, hey, Adrian. Oh, Adrian. Adrian, where's my abacus? It's just me yelling with like a shitty Italian accent. Like, andiamo, non si mande. Yeah, I told Nick too before that stream. I was like, "Yo, dude, I bought a costume for the stream." He goes, "What's the costume?" I'm like, just don't fucking worry about it, man. And then I started the stream off with a black screen, and then I walked forward with the costume on, and he lost it.
I've only begun.
Yo, we got a donation here from Ember as well, too. Thank you very much, Ember. Dropping us a $30 bomb. Thank you very, very, very much, Ember. Very much appreciated. 30. It's $1 for every month. 30 months and a $30 donation. Thank you very much. Hot embers. It's even better. Being thrown down a hallway. Dude, you son of a bitch. Really, I think that my favorite costume I've worn is the crab costume. That's like the hardest thing to explain to someone too. Like, oh, what's your job? Like, oh yeah, like run a YouTube channel and stuff like that. And oh, so you make videos and such. Like, yeah. And then it's like, then to have to explain to someone that I've got like a costume closet. Well, not closet. Like I got a bunch of costumes behind me, and it's like, yeah, you know. Sometimes you just get the urge, because I just go and I'll go onto Amazon and find like a $5 or $10, $15, $20 costume and be like, yeah, well, that's the costume that's going to be used for that launch or that big thing. Like, anytime we do an Everchosen, which reminds me, we got the finals for that one that Nick's doing coming up. I got to find a costume. Oh, man. Yeah, the green face in Goblin was pretty good. What costumes do I have? So we've got the giant rat costume. I've got a musketeer costume back there, but I've never worn it here. I know I wore it on a Halloween stream. I've got the knight costume. Hot dog costumes back there. Musketeer is probably my favorite. Like, I have when women come over, maybe not show the closet first. No. Major Millet, you show the closet first. They gotta know. They gotta know what they're signing up for. Like, hey, you know, I love that I've tricked you up to this point, that you've made it into my apartment. This is the costume closet. If you want to stay, I think now it's okay that you can, because you now know that this exists. Spartanian? Oh my god, that's amazing. No, if I could do something like for Halloween, so my musketeer costume was like $25, $30 off of Amazon. And for a Halloween, I would love to get like 10 or 15 friends all wearing that. And for those who've seen like the Three Musketeers Disney version with Charlie Sheen and everything like that, we all show up to a location, a party, a bar, or whatever the fuck it is, with the hats on and kind of big coats, and one of us goes all for one, and then the rest of us toss the coats off and yell, and one for all. That would be the capstone on my life. Someone could shoot me in the head right after that. I'd be like, cool, done. I'm fine. I make it up to the pearly gates. And I'm like, you sure? Was that all worth it? I'm like, yeah, man, we did the all for one for all thing. I'm like, that's all this was the culmination of my life. Yeah, we didn't get married, didn't have kids. Like, yeah, whatever. I did the musketeer thing. Some might say I have low ambition for my life, but I disagree. Go from hot dog cosplay as party sub cosplay. I think one of those. Hot dog mafia, dude. Goji, you wish, bro. Crowning achievement, crowning glory in my life. What was I gonna say? Sporticus? That's in all the campaigns, I thought. I like how this was a lore stream a half hour ago, but it has no longer been a lore stream. There was a funny tweet where a woman was put in charge of her company party and she hired a mime and an Austin Powers impersonator to show up an hour in. That is so funny. I don't see nothing wrong with a future girlfriend entering the bedroom to find you wearing the crab costume while biting a rose, but then again, I'm single, so... How many, Dr. Raptor, are you asking how many do I have, or just to the people, to the common folk? Dude, Kaldor Drago, Legendary Lord Wen, dude, tomorrow. Back on track. What endgame challenges are you looking forward to seeing? I would love to. Fid Ellis, I can give you an honest answer, or I can give you a funny answer. So you get to tell me which one you want. To get somewhat back on track, what endgame challenges are you looking forward to seeing? I would honestly... So you know how in Three Kingdoms, the factions would kind of combine into super factions beyond a certain point and then target you? I would love to see that happen, and they create the end time faction name. Like, it'd be cool if, okay, the remaining elf factions beyond a certain point, they all confederate and make the Eternal Court and come after you. I think that'd be pretty cool. The funny answer for why I'm still single is that I can't find someone to deal with the costume closet. Yeah, there you go, Fit. There's your funny answer for that. Ooh. Warhammer 2 FFA. Come on, you know you want to. Yeah, I'm down. I want to do another I want to do another hot dog stream. We've talked about doing it like with spice. Goji, would you be down with that? Would you be down with us doing, like, rather than doing hot dogs, we have... See, the problem though is I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say. A hot dog is a single unit of measurement, right? Like, all hot dogs are the same. Like, a Hebrew national hot dog is the same no matter where you buy it, where you get it, whatever. But if you try to do like a spice related stream, there has to be a control variable. There has to be someone who's creating an equal or somewhat equal within a variance amount of spice on each thing that everyone's eating. But if you say like, oh yeah, you have to eat a chicken wing with this spice on it, and then it gets hotter and hotter, then they could cheat and put less of the hottest one on one, you know? I know the scientific theory. I know how this all fucking works. Well, yeah, buying the same sauce is fine, Goj, but it's the level of saucification. No. I know about the Scoville scale and everything. I'm saying about if Goji goes ahead and puts, let's just use a tablespoon of something on it, but I put a teaspoon of something on it, and we both say we're eating the same thing, it's not really the same. I'm just saying, yeah, 1 teaspoon. But here's my point. No one is actually creating the true teaspoon. It's us doing the teaspoon. So they could fucking cheat and we'd never know. But like I'm saying, you can't cheat eating 1 hot dog as 1 hot dog if you say, hey, everyone's got to go buy Hebrew National hot dogs as 1 hot dog. Cook the sausages, beer, and hot sauce. That way you only... Dude, that just sounds good. Can I just do that and just have that? Doomsage, do I not look like a bro enough that I would not have a food scale in my own place? Just get spicy jelly beans? Wow. The only one who would cheat is Pone because he is whiter than bread. What about sugarless Haribo gummy worms? Do you guys remember those? Do you guys remember the Amazon reviews for those? Sex ed. Don't make me get... I'll talk about sex ed. We can go down that route, Flesson. I'm not going to talk about labia minora majora on this stream, but I will. We do it on cam. Everybody does the same amount of drops. Okay, we could do that. We all have to get the same sauce that has the same applicator though, so it can be the same. Larry McFart swinging in with a $20 bomb. Sorry, late and out of context response because I've been driving and listening. But if you get canceled for bringing up the alpha, thank you. I'm glad. I won't get canceled for that though, Larry. I didn't say anything drastic or harsh or anything like that. I was just saying that anyone who'd be part of that community would want to be represented with a good character, not with just like but I'm just throwing on just give me that title and that's all you need to do. It's like, that's dumb. Frequent review, you need jewelry scales for stuff that goes up to 1. Oh my god, Doomsage, are you a meth dealer? But I appreciate that, Larry. Thank you for the $20 bomb, my dude. Bert plays games. Absolutely, man. Thank you very much for watching, my brother. Hopefully it gets you through those busy days. Yes, I did. I did, Flats. All right, my guys. You were high? Goji, you were smoking jazz cabbage, the devil's lettuce, while we were playing a game that is a Christian game of family values? How dare you? All right, my guys, we are at the end of our stream here for the day. Yes, Larry, I did. I saw it. We just talked about it. It popped up just a little bit ago. Amber swinging in with a $10 one as well. What is your least controversial hot take? A strong opinion of little consequence.
Thank you for the donation.
And thank you again for a second donation. A donation, a membership, and a $30 bomb. Amber, you're the best. What is least controversial hot take? Oh, yeah. Okay. Breaking Bad is a subpar, if not just okay show. It was enjoyable up to the last full season with the end of Gus Fring. After that, not interesting. I personally, okay, it's like a little rednecky, but I prefer Sons of Anarchy. I love Sons of Anarchy because it's more relatable, right? Like, oh, okay, it's a coming of age story. This guy's kind of struggling to grips with himself, his identity, his stepdad, his mom, and then trying to piece together the relationship that he somehow has distantly with his father, and how everyone kind of projects his father onto him. Like, all that felt very relatable. But I just struggled to really grasp the conflicts of Breaking Bad, especially. Yeah, Sons of Anarchy is Hamlet for bikers, 100%, Rob. And as someone who's been in a bunch of Hamlet, or a bunch of Shakespeare plays, you can understand why I would like it more. It's actually the Scottish play. It's the story of Mac, more or less. Or no, of Hamlet. You're right. Fuck, I'm stupid. But, okay, a guy gets cancer and he's doing whatever he can to provide for his family before he goes. Okay, cool. I get that. And then it kind of just goes off the rails hard. And then you kind of get like, okay, Gus Fring leaves the equation. And then there's just too much stuff. Like, there's too many things that happen that break the character. Like, oh, we're trying to get Gus Fring's laptop. And in order to do it, we're going to demagnetize it using this gigantic magnet. Okay, ridiculous, but sure, whatever. But it knocked over this picture, and in this picture, it opened up a frame, the back frame of it, and it had all the bank account numbers of all the banks. Like it was like too much of a reach, because it's like Gus Fring was so meticulous that it kind of didn't make sense to me. There was too much of like, there were too many points in Breaking Bad where the writer's strike was evident, where just like, oof, that kind of dipped hard and didn't feel great. I have not watched the Mayans yet. I want to though. All right, my guys. I got a puppy who wants to get picked up from his little. He's probably so tired now after getting groomed and everything. But I am gonna go ahead and end our stream here for the day. Thank you, bros, very much for watching. Let's go ahead and go through some thank yous. We did get some donations here. I want to just kind of go over those one more time. So we got that guy with the $10 donation, Calvin with the 100 ZAR donation, Gabriel McWilliams with a double $20 Bomberoo, that's a $40 smacker, Eli with a $35 donation, Axios with a $5 donation, Old Timer bringing us in with the $10 super chat, that guy with another $2 donation, bringing him to a total of 12, Ken with a customary $20 donation in a adding to the Italian American trope, which I will gladly accept, and Ember with a did I say thank you to Eli? And Eli with a $35 donation. I don't know if I caught that. Rose with becoming a member as well, but Ember Borgia, she did a three-way on me. She menage-a-trois me with a $10 super chat, a $30 donation, and then renewing her membership for 30 months in a row. So thank you very much, Ember. Crushing and rushing it. And also to close us out, we got Larry McFart with his $20 donation as fucking well. Woo! You were thanked twice? Damn it. Fuck. I knew I was stupid. Mine's not bad, but nowhere close to SOA. Oh, that's okay. I can understand. It's not. Nothing's as good as Last Kingdom. I fucking love Last Kingdom. Go get that doggo. All right, my guys. So we'll probably be... I don't know if we're going to stream on Saturday. I might kind of take the weekend to relax. It's just kind of been... I haven't been overly... There's not a lot, like, out right now, but there's a lot coming. Game-wise. So I think I might kind of enjoy the weekend and not stream. I don't know. Sometimes I really miss streaming. I'm like, oh, well, I'll stream. Like, streaming 3 days a week is kind of like my go-to. Oh, Orange Julius. It is so good, dude. It is so good. I'm most excited for Order Tide because I want to play the High Elves. But there's a 50-50. I'll know by tomorrow, and I'll post up if we're going to stream. I'm not sure if we will or will not. But I'm really excited for Dark Tide. I'm excited for Immortal Empires. We got plenty of stuff in the future to stream and have fun with my bros. But if we don't stream this weekend, have a good weekend. Everyone, wash your hands. Stay safe. Take care. Send a text to someone you love. Tell them you love them. Remind them. Maybe call your parents. Call my mom every Friday. Because my dad's too busy outside working. My mom's like, Ryan's called. My dad's like, shut up, Debbie. I'm trying to water the plants. Oh, I know. I can't wait. Ya boy. Some bots to close us out. But all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.